believe anything, love. Sorry, I couldn't get to your thing in time. I couldn't get to your mic in time. They didn't hear that. Do you want to do that again?
No, I'm okay.
Ooh, 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 ooh. Where the fuck's the button? There's the button. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Ladies and jury gentlemen.
Wait, say that one more again?
Yeah.
more
Ladies
again?
and jury gentlemen.
Ladies and jury gentlemen. Hi, everybody. Apparently, here's an issue. Guys, we have a problem. I'm so used to my microphone being bad and for some fucking reason not picking up my voice no matter what. And ever since I moved, it's no closer to me. Literally no closer to me. There's no differences. But ever since I moved, for some fucking reason, my mic is an appropriate volume now. And that's a bad thing because I'm so used to pumping up my volume all the way. Yeah. Guys, we're going to play a game today. We're going to play a game today. Does anyone want to know about our game? Oh, yeah, you do want to?
Truly. Hey, it's Antares. Thank you for the subscription.
Chapter reactions are Patreon only unless it's a hype-ass chapter. That's the rules. If it's a hype-ass chapter, like if our mods tell us ahead of time it's too hype, then we're going to save it for Sunday. But most of the time, it's just a patron-only like little hangout for stream reactions. You better do Berserk next week or else. Next week we will do Berserk, right? That's the plan?
Targo is back. Woo!
Hello! Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Do you want to know how many vitamin C's I've had today?
Yeah. How many vitamin C's have you had?
I drink them as sparkly powder, and I've had...
You're quiet. I gotta bump you up. Give me a second.
10 sparkly powder packages of vitamin C.
10 sparkly powder packages of vitamin C? That's a lot of sparkly powder packages of vitamin C. The jury's
so fucking tired of being sick.
Okay. So we're gonna play a game today. Do you want me to explain the game? Do you want me to explain the game, sick one?
Is it me?
Well, you're part of the game. You're not the drama, but you are the core of the game. The game is, you guys can see Mama's screen as she does tier lists. You will not see my screen. I'm going to be doing, instead of sharing a tier list today, I'm going to be doing my own secret tier list that I'm doing. And at the end of each tier list, when Mama has done her tier list, by the way, were given to us by our patrons. Lovely patrons can contribute to community streams like this in the future. So if you want to be part of the hype, join the Patreon, submit your options. We'll probably do this again. I've only picked 6 of the 9 that were given to us because these felt like ones we could get through, like ones that we were going to be a bit quicker about, with I think one exception of these. The first one I think is going to take a bit longer. The rest I think we can get through pretty quick. The power scaling. The power scaling is which one we're starting with.
Oh, fuck a turkey.
Because I think that'll take the longest. Power scaling's hard. Power scaling's tough. So can I explain how I've interpreted the power scaling tiers, and then you can kind of apply, and if you change what you call the tiers, I'll shift from there, okay? So the way I've interpreted it is, it's all just straight up who's stronger than who, not who wins in a fight necessarily, because, matchups are a thing, circumstances, dreams, hopes, whatever. All of that can get in the way. This is like pure, if these guys were in a boxing competitive league, whose elo would be highest? Who's winning the most fights on average against the strongest opponents? So S tier is the strongest. Now, you'll notice that the power scaling tier list has question mark plus between S and A, and question mark minus between C and D. So the way I'm interpreting those are like, this is someone who it's hard to gauge their strength because either they have something holding them back or something giving them an unfair advantage that makes it kind of unfair hard to just straight up rank them. Like it's a little bit tough to accurately depict where they go because they either have an edge case advantage or an edge case weakness that's making them not be where they should be. Make sense?
Why am I having to start with power scaling?
Because it's the one that I think will take the longest.
Yeah, but I like to juice up to this kind of shit.
Okay, you want to go up to it? So we can start with gags. We can start with cover stories. Cover stories are a little hard because they're all black and white, so it's a little hard to decipher which one is which.
Berserker.
Paladin Berserker's going. Oh, and there is currently, first of all, hype train level 1. So if you want to get the hype train up, you can sub right now, gift subs right now, whatever. Get the hype train going if you like, so that we get extra special emotes for the rest of the stream. Then the other thing,
think if anyone does that, you should have to sing the train songs.
I don't know what the train songs are, but sure.
I'll sing. Give you train songs.
I'll sing a train song. I'll sing like one train song. If we get to hype train level 3, I'll sing a train song. Not a song by the band Train. I don't know any of them. We also have a poll going on. How many tier lists? It's a betting poll. Sorry, not a poll. It's a bet. It's a bet. It's a gamble. It's a wager. Wager for points. How many tier lists will Mama agree with Drawk?
Description.
Agree? Agree is just going to be like 50% or more of the options we've put in the same tier. Okay? It doesn't have to be in the same order. It's just in the same tier, 50% or more. Right. Gags might be longest. I think Gags is pretty quick. I think it's easy to sort. Do you want to do Gags first?
Character tier as one, and then I've got One Piece cover story arc tier list. And then this one is One Piece backstory appreciation. I want to do that one first.
You want to do backstory appreciation. Okay, so I'm taking a look at backstory appreciation myself. I'm going to try to sort it out quickly so that I can pay attention to what you're doing a little bit more than I'm planning on otherwise. But I'm going to be doing it quickly in the background behind you. A couple of these I pre-did because I thought they'd be a bit harder. The other ones I just didn't have time. I've been busy unpacking.
No, you didn't, Sam Fisher.
I'm going to brag about adulting real quick. I have installed extra plugs on 3 pieces, like electrical plugs on 3 pieces of furniture using my drill, my bandsaw, and my hole saw. 3 times. I've installed a new light fixture. Didn't think I'd be able to do that. Installed a dishwasher. I've fixed a dryer. Since moving in, I've been fucking handyman out here. I haven't been fucking handyman. I have been a fucking handyman out here. I've been installing shit constantly. I'm doing it all. Hype train's still going. Guys, we're 93% of the way to a level 2 hype train.
You should not encourage that. You're gonna have to
I'll sing my train song. I'll sing a train song.
Do I get to choose your train song?
I mean, if I know it, sure. But otherwise, I'm just gonna
just look the lyrics up. You're not a moron.
Yeah, but I don't know songs. Otherwise, I'm just gonna like belt the melody of the Thomas the Tank Engine theme song.
You should have to sing the whole thing.
Holy shit! Someone has subscribed in a half. Well, how many gifted subs was that? Ozzy Lelowin gifting a pile of subs. We gotta lower now that we have fewer viewers. We have to lower our goals so it doesn't look sad. Thank you for giving 10 subs. It was a sad thing to say at a happy moment.
Level 4 Drawk.
Holy shit! Okay, that does mean it does mean.
Train. You ready?
Yeah. What train is this? What am I saying?
You should sing. You should sing the Folsom Prison Blues.
Okay, let me look this up because I know the melody. So if I get the lyrics, I should be able to say that is a train song. I'm not gonna. Now, we did agree has to be a song about trains, not a song by train, and this is a song about trains. Yeah. I hear the train a coming, it's rolling round the bend. I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. I'm stuck in Folsom Prison and time keeps dragging on. And he does a little guitar. The train keeps a rolling down to Saint Anton. Saint Anton.
Okay, this is better than I
was just a baby. My mama told me, son, always be a good boy. Don't ever play with guns. But I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. And then he does a little guitar thing again. When I hear that whistle blowing, I hang my head and cry. That is so out of my register. I cannot sing this at all. Also, Johnny Cash talk sings, which doesn't help.
Yep, you know what I'm going to say to you right now? That was a truly train songing. You trained it up.
Can you hold control and scroll inwards so that people can see a bit better? I just mouse over your browser.
I just need to do this.
Oh, you're not full screen. Yeah. Well, no, that didn't do anything, actually.
Okay, control and go in?
Yeah, control and zoom in. I'll try to do it on my end, actually. Yeah, because that's making it weird also. Is this on your desktop you're doing this? This is weird. I don't know why it's being not normal. All right, so I'm going to zoom it in. Yeah, that helped a bit, and now I'm going to do some other help on my end.
Make it a little bit bigger.
Okay, we're good. We're good. I think this is visible now. I think I have it. It's a bit weird, but it's good.
I said I don't think we have an epitaph one, Sam, but I haven't gone through them all, so I don't know.
I'm gonna add something in here real quick so that you guys can in the corner see me working my magic, because right now you just see a blank screen. So I'm gonna add a source that's gonna be Drawk's tier list. And this will be just in the corner. That's me in the corner.
That's you in the spotlight.
Spotlight. That's not a train song though.
Losing your religion.
Currently, it's Johnny Cash lyrics, but it will be tier lists. And you're not going to be able to see what I'm doing at all, but this will just be there so that you know it's happening. You can see it in the bottom.
I don't know when, while I'm stuck in Folsom Prison. Dragging on.
Down and out, down and out.
Excuse me, I'm running out of vitamin C.
When I see that train a-coming. I said that at the wrong point, and I couldn't come up with something that mixes with on. Well, whatever. Down to Saint Anton. That's not even a place. San Anton. Okay. I'm working in the corner. I'm going to be going through this quickly. This is a story about a girl. This is tier list. Fucking clicking dragged by accident. I'm so good at UI. Guys, the thing you should know about me is that I'm really good at operating UIs. I'm really good at like managing user interfaces.
That is the thing I want to know about you.
Yeah, I'm so good at it. A Boy Named Sue was written by Shel Silverstein. Hell yeah, dude! Oh wait, he stole the lyrics? Fuck, no, that's sad.
From where the sidewalk ends?
You know what? It got stolen, but also, can you be that mad when he made that much of a banger about it?
That's incredible.
I don't think if Shel had kept that one under the hood, that would have popped off the way it did. So, you know.
Honestly, Where the Sidewalk Ends is my favorite book of all time.
Yeah, that's okay. Sure. Yeah, that's a book.
I don't care. It just is. I don't know what to tell you.
You know what? It is a book. That's allowed.
Okay. Well, it's on my desk right now as we speak.
I like these. I like these names we have. I like the names for the tiers here. I think they did a good job. For anybody who's unable to parse the can I make this any bigger?
Can I tier list today?
Can we tier list? Yeah. I'm just going through the tiers so that we can like people.
Hype.
I'm just going. We did it. We hit level 4, guys. Thank you so much to all those who gifted and subbed themselves. You guys fucking rule. All right. The options here for those who can't read are worthy story all on its own, which I think we can agree that means the backstory is so good it could be its own like little book. It could be its own like children's book, and we'd be like, yay, what a great story. Sobbing like Frankie for real is this makes us cry. That's rough, buddy is. Yeah, that's sad. Oh, bummer, dude, is like, yeah, like, if someone told you this happened to them, you'd be like, yeah, that's a bummer. And then this happened is, I frankly do not remember. I have to be reminded about this. Okay, are you ready?
I think you should have to sing Runaway Train now because we got to hype level 4.
Well, I mean, that wasn't a divisible of 3, but I can consider that. I don't know what that is, though.
You do, don't you, Up?
Nope.
Call you up in the middle of the night. That one.
Oh, yeah. I guess I do. I just like... I don't think I know this well enough that I could actually keep the melody. Like, you started it, and I was like, yeah, that one. But I couldn't roll with that.
You were there like a blowtorch.
Hey, next time if we hit hype level 6, I'll also do the Thomas the Tank Engine. We ready?
Here we go! I'm going to start with an obvious thing.
What's an obvious thing?
Well, I'm going to start with one that for me is super, super obvious for a background story because it's so good. And then I'm going to put it at the top. And then I'm going to put one at the bottom that I give 0 shits for. Here we go.
Okay.
Woo! Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, so all the way to the top is the gifting of the hat.
Yes.
Okay. Shanks loses his arm, all that? Crazy. Yep.
How is it it's a backstory, but it's not a backstory.
Okay. I mean, it is a backstory. It is like the start of it. All right. Do you have a defense of this being at the very top, or are you just like, y'all should be aware?
The reason that has to go there is that's just literally like, we call it a backstory, but it's really like the whole background of One Piece.
Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
putting it there would be wild. It just is One Piece.
Uh-huh. No, I understand. I understand. What's
Okay.
next? What are you moving next?
I wanted to find something to put at the bottom.
Something that you look at and you're like, damn, like, I don't even know. Like, that's not doing it for me.
And that's hard. I'm looking at these things. Shit.
I know which one I've put in the bottom, and people might be able to see, but you shouldn't look because it'll spoil you. You just stick to you just ignore because
Not on your
yeah,
page.
yeah, yeah.
I can't see what's on your bottom, only what's on my bottom.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? These guys, I'm gonna go with that's rough, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's like so hear me out on this, right? I think if it was just the way Buggy original told it, that would be this happened. Like I didn't remember it, but finding out that actually Buggy's backstory wasn't supposed to be sad because of eating a devil fruit when he wanted treasure, that it was his friend seemingly giving up on his ambitions and not wanting to like be the next pirate king, and it broke Buggy's heart to see the man he believed in not pursue his potential. It does make it sadder, and that makes more sense to me. If it was literally just Buggy ate a devil fruit like it was originally pitched without the addition, I'd be like, meh, nothing. I feel nothing for you.
Who's this pink dude on the second row far right? I can't.
The pink dude, second row far right. Where? What?
Pink dude, second row far right.
That's Fisher Tiger.
All right. Bummer, brah. That was a bummer. Oh my god. Oh, bummer dude is one of these?
Bummer dude. Yeah, you did. Wait, that was you just saying it? That wasn't intentional?
No, I just looked up to be like, where am I going to put this? Because I was like, yeah, that was a bummer, brah. And
that's rough, dude. Like, fucking.
And I looked up and was like, oh, that's there. Okay. I'm going to take these two great good friends for whom I love, and it's a story all worthy on its own.
Kagura and Nolan makes sense. Like, that. That's one where in the backstory, I don't think it hit me as much as at the end when Luffy rings the bell and you realize that their life's mission is being fulfilled. That's when it hits me and I'm like, oh, fuck, okay.
It was so good. It was the goodest good and goodness. What is the mama one on the first row, third from the end? I can't really see.
Oh, that is Odin's backstory. It's Odin holding up all of the vassals over the boiling oil.
Oh, right. Alrighty,
Pyagtaro, that is the exact goal. You have figured it out. You genius, you.
The boys' little cups, that goes to the very top for me.
The boys with the cups? Okay.
That for me is one of those stories that I would have read as a separate story. I would have taken it and made it my whole heart.
Mm-hmm.
The little sad toy soldier, I didn't cry with it like everyone else did. I thought it was pretty pretty rough.
It was even I think that makes sense.
It was even there for me, but
see, you know what I've realized is difficult with One Piece, and I noticed this when I was pre-doing the power scaling one, is that so many of these things are on such a high level that you gotta put stuff that should be really high kind of low just because of the bell curve we're grading on. Like, we're grading on such a fucking curve that a lot of this shit that in theory is so sad, I'm like, bummer, dude. Like, for stuff that in theory in another story I might put as a really highly ranked tier list, in One Piece I'm like, sorry, bud. Yeah. Okay, wow, that...
You know what? Sobbing like Frankie for me was, did you eat your own leg?
Let me fix this, y'all. It looks like at some point the zoom changed and now they can't see the tears, so...
Oh, I changed the zoom. That's what happened.
Oh, okay. You did not update me and I'm looking and it's weird now, but... There we go. I don't know what you did, but yeah, it's better now. It just, I wasn't... Yeah, now it's... Okay, now it's actually really good. It's just I was too zoomed in because I wasn't used to it being really good.
I just decided I don't need to see the squishies telling me how fucking wrong I am. I can just live without it.
Fair enough.
I was like, fuck this shit. Tell me how
shit.
fucking wrong I am while nobody listens. Whistle into the forest. Okay.
I love that for you, honestly. Honestly.
I do too, honestly, because I'll come back later and they'll be like, Mama, you're the
Oh my
fucking
God.
worst.
You know what I think would be such a cool tier list to do, but would be really hard to do?
What?
We should spend some time finding all of the theories about different parts of the Harley text, make little images for each of the theories people have about all the different parts of it, and put them on a tier list of plausibility. Wouldn't that be really fun?
You have no idea how I'm already wanting to do that. I'm like so mad we're not now.
Can we? I think we could get help and get that done within a couple weeks and like review people's theories about parts of the Harley text. And then I think
we could all be right and we could all be wrong, so that would be fun as shit.
Ranking it by what we think the plausibility is of every part of it, that's such a good. Okay, yeah. Guys, do you want to commit right now to like 2 weeks from now so that we have time to set it up? That's what we're doing for a stream. Because it'll be the Harley text. Yeah, this is great. A One Piece conspiracy tier list would be fun, but this is just the Harley text. This is just Harley text conspiracy theories because there's going to be like 50 fucking options minimum.
This is killing me, Drawk. So many of these I want to put up so high.
But you got to rank on a bell curve because it's One Piece.
Okay. The Mama one where she ate all her friends is a bummer now.
I mean, that's crazy, but I get it. I understand, but that's insane.
I know. That's what I was trying to tell you. This is fucked up. You know what else is a bummer? It's a bummer your mom died, Usopp.
Like, yeah, your mom died of sickness, but compared to what's happening, like, shame, bud.
The only reason you're that high for me is because I know you and I don't know those other guys. Baka, turkey vulture.
Okay, I think I'm committed to where mine is, so I'm going to pre-work on some other ones so that I can be more involved with the rest of these, but I'm committed on mine. I'm committed on what I've done for this one.
I'm sorry. Laboon is always at the top for me, though.
Okay.
Don't okay me.
Okay.
Being hard-boiled is pretty rough, buddy. Ah, fuck.
That one's an interesting one because, like, it's kind of his fault because that so much tragedy happened because he lied to be in a relationship, but he did truly love his wife too. So it is sad, but it's a classic tragedy where he's responsible.
Which is why I almost want to put it in bummer, dude, because I'm like, well, you did it yourself. You're kind of like big old mama eating her friends. Like, don't eat your friends. Oh, this is so rough. This is a hard one. I'm going to drink some vitamin C. That's what's wrong. Okay, I feel more capable of engaging again. Frack. Okay, we got ourselves a little cry moment. Oh, flick a donkey.
Kuma's backstory is a wild one to look at.
I'm going to put Robin and the Dereshi monster at sobbing.
The Dereshi monster? It is called Saul, the Dereshi monster? Is that what you just did? Is that a thing you just did?
I bet the squishies love that for me.
Oh my god.
I bet you none of the squishies were upset with that at all.
I love it. Let me check chat. Someone says that was rude. So yeah, you know.
Yeah. The baby mini wimpy Hoshi and her mom, that's fucking rough.
I love that you said that's rough, buddy, without realizing that was one of the tiers. It's very funny to me.
That's a bummer, buddy, or something, and that's rough, buddy. Both of these, that's rough and bummer, dude, are both things I say all the time.
This was made for you. I think this was one of the bespoke ones, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, I can grab who submitted these, actually. So allow me to do so.
I'd love to hear for each one.
Yeah. I can actually find who submitted each of these. So I'm gonna go to the Patreon and grab that so we can thank people personally.
People are gonna hate some shit I'm about to do.
Look, there's no way when you're ranking on a curve like this, you have to upset some people. Like,
hey, this happened is kind of rude. I'd kind of like to change that one to.
Yo, what are you? Because that might change mine. How I did mine with that case. Running gigs. Someone submitted One Piece TCG event cards based off flavor, but I feel like it'd be too much to look them up because you can't read the text. But I did like the idea conceptually. It was just going to be too hard to do, so we aren't doing that one. Cover stories. The issue really is not all of these. Yes. Okay. This was from Sitting Here Turning O2 to CO2. That is who submitted this one.
Person.
Okay. What tier are you adding? Oh, what the fuck happened? I looked away for a second to find who did it. Thank you, Sitting Here Turning O2 to CO2. A regular in our stream. What the fuck is happening? What are you doing?
Don't even worry about it.
What are
Don't
you
let it
doing?
bother you at all.
It's
I'm apparently doing the world's craziest things. Drippy is stale.
What?
Why did it go away?
Did you close the tab?
Don't worry about it.
I'll send you the link and you can reopen it, I guess. It should save what you did. Okay. Guys, I don't know what's happening. Guys, I don't know.
I'll tell you what's happening. I went rogue, then crazy.
I looked away to thank somebody, and when I came back, this was happening. I
went crazy. I told you how this went. All right, let's get it back.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I can't believe she's doing this.
The woman has gone nuts.
I can't believe she's doing it.
What was it? One Piece backstory appreciation list. It's this one.
Sorry. I love when people
sweet little squishies
come up with really good names for the tiers. It makes it a lot easier to review.
Agreed. Okay, here we go. Boop. Boop. And get back. Boop. And I'm getting in trouble. Boop.
You're getting in trouble. What is happening, dude?
Don't worry about it.
I'm worried about it. I don't. I'm like a 45, 50-minute drive from you. I can't fix this. I'm Houston watching the satellite from monitoring.
I'm a stunning operator of this system. Do you see it?
Okay. So what are you calling? So what are you changing? Okay, you're changing it to yeah, not good. Like, okay.
Yeah, not good is the bottom now. And then up here, I'm going to put, yeah, my soul.
Okay, so you're right. Okay, interesting. I think I can keep these where they are, but it might create some disagreement just based off of like I was ranking the top as not a level of sadness, but as it told a complete story. Like, and I was like, oh shit.
I don't know if any squishies noticed this, but the idea of this could be a story on its own doesn't necessarily make it good. It just makes it so that it can be a story on its own.
It just makes it a complete tale to itself. You're right. So let me change that, and I'll see if I reevaluate mine quickly based off of that.
So, my soul is the top.
My soul. I put my heart. That's important. I put sold. I don't want to say sold. Okay.
And then sobbing like Frankie for real. That's rough, buddy. Ah, bummer, dude. And yeah, not good. Okay. You'll hate this, guys. It is what it is.
Wow, she's pulling some moves here.
I'm just gonna pull some moves. Sobbing like Frankie for real. I'm gonna stick up my little sweet buddy and baby Law. Shit on a donkey. This is hard. You can all suck turkey necks.
This actually does change a couple of mine if the top is different. This changes a couple. You love the dog. The dog going?
I love that dog so much. I'm gonna give myself a little oh my darling Clementine up at the top with Nami and her mom and sister.
I'm so curious about this. Is wild. Some of the differences we're gonna have are very funny.
Yes, not good, dude.
Yeah. So do you want to say what you're putting where for the people who are half watching?
This is the shoot your dumb dad moment that we have down here.
Yeah, Dofi killing his dad, getting tortured by everybody. Yeah.
It's not good, dude. Let's be honest. Yeah, not
It's
good.
not. No, it's not. We can all agree that it's not good, dude.
Everyone's gonna love this for me. It's pretty rough, buddy, that Zoro had to go through what he went through with his Tashigi.
Yeah.
Or
Like
sorry,
that's
with his.
man,
It
that's
was
tough.
pretty rough,
But
buddy.
it is like when you compare that to what you've got in the top, it's a little bit like, yeah, your friend died, man.
Also, like, same with I know everyone wants Odin to be at the top all the time, but
Whoa,
like
yeah.
they they had a really bad parent who were kind of assholes, but they weren't bad like I don't
Oh,
know,
yeah, yeah.
Sanji's. And they're still
I'm
kicking
I'm
and
actually shocked that Sanji's second backstory is not on here.
it
We've
is
had backstory, but what about second
kind of a
backstory?
bummer, dude, to think you're Odin and be abused by your family. That's a bummer. Ah, this is so hard and mean and rough. Ah. The Tom story, yeah, it was a bummer, dude. The Smile story with the
Yeah.
father who gives everything up. Now that one was really harsh. Yeah, that is really rough, buddy. It's rougher than this story of um the toy soldier from Dressrosa is going down. It was a bummer. What
Okay.
was this moment here? What's the first moment on the left right now with
The
the
first
hugging
one on the
crying?
left is Luke hugging Chopper.
Oh shit. Okay, so you know why we make things different is they hit us different depending on our age and the context of our lives. So for me, this one was really it was a bummer. Because
Yeah,
that's about
that's a bummer.
self-identity, it's about loving.
I just saw how long the epithet one is. It's way longer than I thought it was. It went outside the limit we put for ourselves, but I think we should do it anyways because it's
Drawk.
pretty quick. Yeah,
Hey Drawk, we've been
yeah,
given a hint all along. Chopper is alive all the time, just
yeah.
like the animals of Zhao.
I mean, yeah, Chopper's a little guy.
No, he's thinking, talking, humaning all the
Yeah,
time, just
because
like the
he ate
animals
the
of
human
Zoe.
fruit.
Right, but what I'm saying
Right.
is,
Oh,
yes.
oh. Guys, we're gonna get to
Yeah,
that when we talk about the second world, but oh damn, guys, you don't. Oh boy, yeah, we're in some stuff.
it's a pretty big hint.
It's a. It seems like something. It
Thanks
seems
for
like
that,
something.
Oda. Just right there all the time. All the time. The whole time. Just there. Okay. Ace and oh god, Ace. It's not that huge of a moment, but for me, I want to put it at the top because for me, it's Ace. It's my boy. It's my boy. Uh, and yet I'm putting it here. It's a pretty big bummer, dude.
So you're putting what are you putting as it's a bummer? Ace and
Ace
Tama?
and Tama.
Okay. All right.
Uh, okay. No matter who you are, and I think
Mm-hmm.
they are whatever, but the whole thing with Boa Hancock and her sisters was atrocious. That's my soul.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what? Actually, yeah, you're right.
That was yeah. Blah. And then
I'm gonna be honest.
what is
That was one I had in the wrong spot because of what the top tier list used to be called, because it wasn't told like a story, so it felt like it didn't belong in the top previously. So that was one I didn't have up there for that reason, which is why I
this
just
feels better to me
reacted.
about what's at the top now that it isn't just like
Okay.
what story can be told beginning to end. What is
Okay.
this one on
Okay.
the left here with the
On the
blue
left,
Who is it?
oh, that's young Vivi and her friend Koza. I think Koza's his name, right? Vivian
You call it
Koza?
Vivi, I call it VV. Yeah, you know
Well,
what? It was
Vivi,
good.
Vivi.
I
Yeah,
know what you're talking
that's Vivian and Kazoo.
about. Ugh, I sneezed because of my unhealthiness. The Odin one is rough. It's really rough.
Yeah.
It's even no, it's not rougher than that. Uh-oh, I moved up the one with the smiling dad from Wano to sobbing, because if I was going to be honest, I did sob, so it's in the wrong spot. And the whole backstory, is this just the backstory of Jewelry Bonnie and Kuma, just their story, not Kuma's story?
This
Doesn't
is
matter.
this is all of Kuma's story. I think that's all of Kuma.
Oh, in that case, in the sob-tastic Ga My Soul, it's gonna be all the way at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Except for, can you really put it above the Luffy tale, given that that's what One Piece is? No, you never mind. What's this last one referring to?
That final one is Peckhams'
Pedro?
backstory. No, that's Peckhams. That's not.
Oh, okay.
That's, Peckhams. You remember him?
Yeah, he's down here. Okay, I am.
You are
happy.
complete. You have done this. You are good to. Let's compare how many we got similarly. Okay. I wish I had an easier way of bringing these up on screen together. Wait, I think I can in a really roundabout kind of way. I'm trying to think of what the best way to have it be easy to compare them is, and I think it's a really dumb way, but I can wait. No, I got it. It's easy. Because well, that's gonna be tough to maneuver a bit, but okay. I need to get my tier lists, Drawk tier lists. Let's compare. Wait, this is the wrong one. I have to bring up the correct one so we can do this. Because I skipped ahead, as I said, so I could be prepared. Let's compare Drawk's tier list to yours. So on the Ga My Soul tier, we can see that you put... Can you close your ad? Can you get rid of that?
But that ad is my favorite ad.
That was an important... Okay, apparently it's a necessary ad. How do we... We could see what you were doing. We can't anymore. How do we... Guys, how do we do this?
You shouldn't have made me get rid of that ad.
Oh, it is how Beppo's father died. I feel the same way. It's at the bottom. I didn't remember. Can you scroll to the side? How do you fix this?
It just is the page now.
It just is the page now.
Try coming back. Nope.
Reload. It'll keep your options.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
Woo!
Scroll down. There we go. Okay. So as you can see, the Ga My Soul tier, what do we have the same? Well, obviously, I put the Kuma story. Obviously, I put, Boas. That's another one I had up there. Laboon. So that's a few that we have the same up there. Not many. Mine has Odin. It has Hero, Luke, and Chopper. That made me cry so much. It has Yasui, because Yasui's story destroyed me. Holy shit. And I put the Deta Shishi at the top because that killed me. It destroyed me. So we have like 2 in common at the top.
I'm gonna put the Duress Shishi monster at the top too.
Okay, then at the next tier, Sobbing Like Frankie for real. We don't agree at all.
No, this is where we go.
The only one we have in common, we have 2 in common actually. Sobbing Like Frankie for real. We both have Sanji and we both have Nami. Otherwise, not a lot of agreement.
I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, that's rough, buddy. I think we have a few in common here, right? No, because you have Hero Luke there. We have Otohime. We have, Now, Law's backstory, you might be wondering, why isn't it higher? I want to defend this because this one, I think it needs defense. The reason I don't have this one higher is very specific. So fucking much bad happens to Law so quickly that I became really numb to most of the horrible shit until Corazon died. It was just so over the top that I was like...
watching the show, or is that because you were...
That's a good point. I should scroll up. You're correct.
Reading it.
I was watching... No, I was reading at that point. And it's just like, damn, just so goddamn much happens that after a certain point, I was like, ugh. Okay. So we have a couple in common there.
For me, every single time I read another thing, I was like, because people were like, "Oh, of course, Mama would like Law." And like, first of all, don't yuck my yum. And second of all, so fucking what? I do like Law. And when I saw his backstory, I was like, no wonder he's kind of like a self-interested fella.
Mhm.
He went through a living hell, and everything that he went through, it's amazing that he became out as good as he did.
So anyone who believed that we'd have all of them match, you've already lost your bet, because you can take a look. Aw, bummer, dude. We have nothing in common. literally, I don't think a single one of these did we both
Yeah?
put in aw, bummer.
Yeah, no.
No. And as far as, yeah, not good, Vivi and Pedro Pacom's we have in common. Everything else is different. Because the only other one I put down there is Usopp with his mom. I thought you'd struggle to put anything down there. You put 2 more down there than me. So good on you. You graded hard. You were a tough grader today, and I appreciate it.
I said to myself, yeah, something's got to be the bottom.
You know what? I respect it. I really thought you were going to struggle. Which tier list do you want to do next?
I am going to choose running gags.
Running gags, I like that one. This is one I did ahead of time, so I don't need to. I want to tell you the change I made, because I think it's pretty important here. It makes a big difference. I made a change to this one. And the change that I made is I added a tier below D, because otherwise I was just ranking by how funny they were. And the one I added below it was not a joke, where I just put stuff that, to me, why is this on here? That's not a gag. That's not a joke. And I put a couple things down there.
All right, add a row below.
Add a row below. Now, well, here's what's crazy. The way this UI works, you now have to exit, and because you were still editing the settings for D. It's weird.
I was going to, but I got out.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it this color.
I fucked that up.
I'm going to call it meh. Meh.
Okay.
And then I'm going to change these to what they should be. I'm going to make one. No, that's good for now. Get out of here. No one likes you.
Okay.
I have to refresh this page. It's all ads all the time.
That's cool about it. I like that it's all ads all the time. I think that's special. Did you unfull screen at some point?
Yes, I'll go back now.
Okay.
Bye again, squishies. Time to go into full
She
screen.
disappears from you, squishies. Squishies, I'll keep up with you. You liked Law the moment you saw his dumb hoodie. Dude, Law's that style. Law got drip for days. He's maybe one of the most. Have I reread the manga? Not yet, but we're gonna for our big reread. People like Law despite his best efforts is true.
You read a little bit at a time with me when we were doing...
I did. Because I would read like 10-ish chapters every week to remind myself of the key points.
I love how many ads I have.
You have a lot of ads. I don't have so many ads.
It's
okay.
The best.
And
look how many down here there is.
So here's kind of how I ranked it, right? For me, S tier is where I put literally basically every time I've seen it, I chuckle. A is like, this has made me laugh for sure. B is sometimes it's made me laugh. C is it might get a smile out of me. And D is where I put stuff where it has only detracted from the series. I have disliked it every time I've seen it. Does that sound reasonable to you?
What about the level below D?
The level below is just, like I said, it's not a joke. That's where I put stuff that, like, this isn't even a gag. Why is it here?
Okay, I'm going to start with Zoro being lost all the time.
Okay.
I don't give a shit what anyone thinks. It's S tier for me.
Respectable opinion. I think that can be defended entirely.
Every single time I see Zoro get lost, it's one of those gags that's like, it's not even that funny. It doesn't take that much effort. But every once in a while, he puts a lot of effort into it and makes it even funnier. And because we already have our Zoro getting lost, it's immediately already funnier than other shit.
I think that's a totally fair opinion.
Okay. The 45 degrees with Brooke, I think the reason people think this is funny is because they watch the anime. I think this is really... Because I watched him do it one time on the anime, and I was like, that's funny. I never laughed a single time when it was in the manga. Not a single fucking time.
So you think that if you were watching, you might be on board with it, but as a reader, you're like, what is this? I'm
like, it's kind of just... D.
D? Okay.
I guarantee if I watch the anime, I'm going to be like, that's funny as fuck, and I'm going to move it up.
Okay.
What's the L according to plan, dude? Here, I can't really see it.
That is Kinemon's plan coming together, despite the fact, and everyone calling him a genius, despite the fact that it was entirely by accident.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, that's a different thing. That's a different thing. Let me take a look at yours. No, that's I was looking away. That's the Fishman guy. So remember the Fishman guy who was like, you've fallen for it. I've attacked the bottom of your foot with my face. That guy.
All right.
I got it mistaken.
That was funny. It got a chuckle from me.
Okay. I was looking away, working on another tier list. I'm almost done pre-gaming so that I can focus entirely. I misremembered.
Baby Five's dependence on others just pisses me off.
Okay.
And so that's not a fucking joke. It's lame. Bartholomew's fanboying is the most amazing goddamn thing ever.
Interesting.
It's at the top. I think it's so fucking funny every time he fanboys. Like, it's because of his fanboying that we end up, in a lot of ways, getting the Armada for Luffy. And it's because of his fanboying that other people who think Luffy is cool end up getting to be so open with their Luffy love. And so I think that he represents all of my moments that I'm like, Luffy's so cool. You know what I mean? And it's funny as fuck. I love it. I'm here for it.
No, I agree. It's a great gag for sure.
Buggy falling into success is everybody's favorite.
Everyone loves that gag. It's a great gag. You love it too, right? Because you're part of everybody. So clearly you love it. Yeah. It bugs you so fucking much, and I love it. I love how much you hate Buggy's success.
It's just really mid for me. Okay, here's a problem. Can I tell you a problem with me? Have you heard about how I love animals?
Yeah, that's true. You love animals.
Animals are my very favorite things. I think they're better than people generally. And yet Boa Hancock kicking animals makes me laugh every time. Such a problematic problem for me.
It's really funny.
I feel really, really bad about it, and yet here we are.
Okay.
Big Mom's hunger pangs? I don't find that funny at all. I find it a representation of our never-ending need for material goods and consumerism. That's
weird. Okay. Bizarre. All right.
I really think that given what chapter it comes in and the way that was laid out for us, I really think that she represents how none of us will ever be full. We will never be satisfied.
It's like kind of a gag too, but like, I don't know.
I don't think it's funny. I think it depresses me, if anything. Lao G's senility isn't funny, but you see this picture here that he is meant to represent a cock, and that's funny as fuck.
See, they didn't put Lao G's sex gags on here though. You're judging his senility. You're judging him forgetting what's happening, you know?
Can I pretend that this is because people will know in the video that I've said it's because of the dick jokes that I think this is funny. He's a flaccid cock and an erect cock. How is that not the funniest fucking thing you've ever seen?
Jesus Christ.
He even bends in half and is at like half mast. Look at him.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Jokes are funny. We should make fun of penises all the time. Oh, funny. I'm gonna put that up here. Everybody knows it's because he's a dick. Ah, that was good. Okay, moving on. Skeleton puns. They've grown on me. I'm up to
they grow on you, don't they?
They really grow on you. I'm up to a C on those.
Like, you don't expect to ever like them, and then you're like, fucking, it's kind of cool.
Kind of good. I'm okay. The do you poop thing with Luffy, I chuckle every time at a C skeleton level.
Okay.
The gag faces are funny as shit.
Can I tell you, I would be so much more into this tier list if they'd included Luffy pushing the skeleton back down. Or an old man with serious wounds. Like your Thriller Bark had so many
Yeah.
good gags, and they only put like 2 of them on here, and it's actually criminal.
Wait, who made this one?
Is this made or submitted? Let's find out. Let's go. Look, regardless, if you made it, I still thank you. It's hard to remember all the gags. However, I do wish it had those.
You can always add them.
Okay. Let me try to find it. Color. Yes, it was found, not made by Tavian M. Tavian M has been thanked as our special squishy patron before.
I love that for us.
You're right. It wasn't a running gag. I guess a running gag has to be done at least twice. The old man with serious wounds was a running gag.
Frankie's perversion for me is I don't really ever laugh. I'm glad it's there.
Yeah, that's where I put a lot of C stuff, is stuff that makes me smile, but not necessarily laugh.
Yeah, like I'm glad it's in there.
That's kind of why I think you should re-examine. Because I think if S is laugh every time, I think the fact that you don't have anything in A right now is a bit weird, considering like C to me, the way I'm ranking this, so if we're going to have transparency, C is like, it makes me smile. B is it sometimes makes me laugh. And A is, I laugh pretty consistently.
Well, I'm going to put loud G's erection difficulties at the top then, because I laugh every
You have changed
time.
what it means, but that is fair. Yeah, like you were talking about a different gag that most people don't read into, but I do think you're right that it's there.
I don't know how everyone else, look at him in this one. It's obvious he's a half dick. Why does everyone not see that he represented a dick? That is the funniest shit ever. I always laugh at a huh. That one stays there. I did chuckle when it happened, but it's not enough. The animal abuse can stay there. Skeleton puns can stay there. Frankie's perversion can, no, everything else is fine. Now I have no B's. I hope you're happy.
I didn't expect that to be what happened, but okay. Look, you do as you will.
The I want to be a warden for me was that was a B. I thought it was quite funny.
It wasn't, it grew on you. Like the first time I was like, whatever, but the fact that it's just constant and that's where he gets his motivation to like stick in is so funny to me.
The I'm handsome one with what's his face? What was his name?
Duval. Oh.
Duval. When I first saw it, I was like, I just want to smack his face and I hate him. And then later, he just stuck with the joke long enough, it got funnier. But it's no funnier than 45 degrees. So it's a D. Yeah. Boa Hancock's Love Sickness, I'm giving a full A.
Okay. Her love of Luffy.
Yeah, I laugh every time that it just like messes with her world. It screws everything up.
Especially that the thing is, if she wasn't so competent and focused and serious all the rest of the time, it would be less funny, but it really works for her.
Funny as shit the way it is. The I'm popular with Mr. Sexy for me is just a meh.
Well, it is specifically, they're not just doing the, oh, which character is this? This is Queen? Oh, no, this is him. This is, what's his name? You know, that guy. Cavendish, the potatoes.
Thank you, Cavendish.
Mr. Potatoes Cavendish. Yeah, that's fair.
I just like meh. Chopper's hiding is epic. I don't know if you know this.
Chopper failing to hide.
Canadians are adorable. We're the fucking cutest thing you've ever seen. We're pretty sweary. That makes us cuter. It's like watching Bambi swear. And so I'm going to give him a full fucking S and everyone can just suck seaweed because every single time I watch Chopper hide anywhere and not hide, I'm like, oh my God, he's the cutest. And I'm putting Chopper's low bounty up there too.
It's funny. It's a good bit. I agree with you.
If I'd be any thinner, I'd be too popular with Queen. It's funny as fuck. I laugh every time. That's a B.
Queen in general had so many gags you could put here. I would put, if Queen ruining his own plans was an option, I would put that S tier. I think it's so goddamn funny.
You know what? The whole thing with Pandora's Terrible Drawings is it was really funny right up until the point that we found out that he could actually draw and he murdered his friends.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to rank it then as it was when you first read it. Not this one can't be ranked with hindsight, you know?
Are you sure? Because I hate him, and it became that the terrible drawing was part of a gag, not for comedy, but to take advantage of friendship.
Yeah.
That's pretty soul crushing, you know?
I will say in the future, Paladin Berserker, I think that's who submitted this. I'm looking ahead of time at the
I thought you did
cover
this, and
story.
it wasn't Paladin Berserker.
Well, no, but I'm looking at the cover stories ahead of time. These images may need labels. We might not get to this one today. I think we do that one last if we do it, so that we have a chance to update it with labels. Because I'm
I'm
having
gonna
a
give
squint.
the terrible drawing a B. It was super funny.
Okay.
I loved it the whole time, but I'm mad in retrospect, so I'm taking it down. Nami's love for money. I don't find it a very funny thing, but I find that I want it to be everywhere all the time. Does that make sense? It's a
No,
B.
but yeah, you are allowed to have the opinions you have anyways. So yes.
Usopp's tactics. Why are those funny?
I mean, if you like I said, I consider the bottom one not a joke. Like that straight up isn't a gag. So
I'm putting Usopp's tactics down here. I don't think it's funny. I think it's amazing, and Usopp is fucking killing it. His made-up diseases, on the other hand, full A.
I moved the dog
Pondemon,
treats and he awakened.
full S tier, non-stop every day. Magellan's bowel movements, really gross but funny. B. Momosuke's perversion, really cringy because of the face that he gives a small boy when he's sitting next to boobies. Blech. I bet if you're a boy, you think it's funny, but then I'd like to introduce you to Lao G.
Here's the thing. The only perverted character I find funny, the only character whose perversions I find a good bit is Frankie's.
Yeah, I don't
Because
know why,
his perversion's not hitting on people.
funny
It's just his perversion not hitting on people. It's just I'm being my weird fucker. I'm being me, the weird guy who just runs around and is in a Speedo and wears an open Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, and it's somehow really good. Robin's whimsical imaginations, why is that a joke? It's just awesome. Just one of the reasons that Robin is awesome. Robin's more morbid comments, it's a fucking A. I love her morbid comments.
Okay.
I might even go higher than that. I love it. I love her morbidity. I'm putting that up in S tier. Fucking A, Robin.
I
Morbid
love Robin's
away.
morbidity.
Oh no, I'm sick and my little man inside of my head who filters is broken. I can't be this
Do it,
sweary
curse.
for work.
Do what you will.
No, but Monday I have to get my shit back together. I'm Odin. That's not a joke. That's a person's identity. We don't fuck with that. Lola's search for love is just kind of sad, if I'm going to be really honest with you. I'm going to put that at a D. As a person who found love earlier in life, I just feel like I'm not in a place to be making fun of people for not getting any. Sanji's perversions, not funny at all. It would be funny if he wasn't trying to turn invisible and stare at people.
Now, I want to remind you how I've done it so we have transparency. For me, I've put D, the ones that don't make me laugh at all, like bad jokes, and the bottom tier is where I put it's literally not a joke.
Well, somebody's identity is not a joke, but
Yeah,
a bad joke is
I
not
think that's fair.
perversion. Super! Always good, always perfect. It's a B level joke at all times, and every time it happens, I love it.
Okay.
Usopp's
there's a lot more
lies,
of these I
I
remembered.
started off very much not into, and the more it happens, the more I'm happy. It gets an S.
Okay.
Sugar's trauma, It's only funny because I'm evil and I wish she would feel sad all the time.
Because you enjoy the
Um,
suffering of this I guess 30-year-old woman who looks like a
a
child.
30-year-old woman, that's an
I was
S
gonna
tier
I was
joke.
gonna say child, but she is not a child.
It's an S tier level joke. I love how traumatizing it is for her. She deserves it. She took
She
the
does. She's
memories
22.
away
I
of
keep forgetting
everyone.
she's 22.
It just makes it so fucking funny. Enjoy your trauma, bitch. Um,
That's what you get for
Luffy,
taking. You know what I realized we should do?
what is it?
Because
What
we're
can I
just
put
talking,
Luffy's nickname?
because we're talking and it's a more chill atmosphere. I'm gonna bring in the music that I sometimes play in stream because
Yes, but
it won't
not
come up on
loud.
Craig anyways. Well, you already changed the settings so it won't be loud, and I already changed the settings so it won't be
Luffy's
loud for other people.
nicknames, if I'm gonna be honest, that shit is my favorite, and I feel like
Hmm.
Luffy and I grok each other on an upper level because of it. We're grokking away.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like Luffy and I are one and the same on nicknames.
I don't. I. I mean, literally, yes. You do also forget characters' names and just refer to them by nickname, so it makes sense. That
Know
would be a.
exactly what I mean.
Now, does that make it not a gag for you? Because that's just you
Oh,
living your life.
oh, it's funny when I do it. It's funny when Luffy does it. It's fucking S tier comedy all day, baby.
Okay. Okay.
Um, the stowaway caribou. What's funny about a pedophile hiding in your shit? Um,
I mean, what's funny is the fact that he's there overhearing shit and constantly like being shit on or thrown around.
excuse me. It's a pedophile in your space. It's not funny. I'm 0% here for it. May I see your panties? I hate it. Where
D
did I put
tier.
it?
D tier is where we put, yeah. Bad
I
jokes
hate
is D
that
tier.
joke. What is there's no G? Is this for the penis buddy?
You know what? That is probably actually a better representation of Lao G's sex jokes because that is, yeah, that is a sex joke that
I'm
Lao
putting
G
that up
does.
there, and I'm gonna
And
put his
Dreg,
senility down to I don't really give a fuck. I never laugh at his
okay.
senility.
Okay, there we go. This makes sense because the G was him pointing out the G in names, which I think is meant to be a joke on G Spot.
No,
I'm pretty sure.
because he's trying to get the G spot because when he's
Yeah,
strong and erect,
yeah.
he can hit the G, but when he's low G and
I
he
do
can't
stand
hit the
by. I do stand by that you're right. That Lao G is just a giant pile of sex jokes stacked on top of each other in the trench
non-stop
coat of a man.
sex jokes, and it's funny as
Yes,
fuck.
yes, that is true about him.
Frankie's changing hairstyle isn't like super funny. It's funny, but I just like it. I'm gonna put it with Frankie's
Yeah.
perversion. I look at it and every time I'm like, I don't laugh. I usually am like, ooh, cool. The compliment doesn't make me happy, you jerk. Oh, Chopper's
Compliments is
giggliness
cute as fuck.
is cute as shit. I'm putting that up there with everything else Chopper does in the S tier because he's a fucking amazing Canadian kid.
Mm-hmm.
The I'm sorry Beppo makes me sad and I cry every time. Beppo, you're worthy, my little friend. And I love
Beppo,
you.
you're worthy. We're taking some time to reinforce Beppo to keep him up, keep his spirits.
Beppo's got a lot of fucking shit going on in his life. And Beppo doesn't need people seeing his thing as a joke.
Yeah.
Well, I'm putting this as excuse me, that's not a joke. Why are we joking about Beppo's trauma?
Trauma?
Trauma. He
Here,
feels the
fix
need
this
to
up.
apologize way too fast. And Beppo is another example of a Zo, so we just have to keep remembering. And then we've got the Kaido's drunkenness, funny as shit, love that crap.
I do love that.
Yeah.
Just
Luffy's love of meat feels like
stuff in places that I don't like. There you go. Now we can
Luffy's
see
love
stuff.
of meat is just telling us secrets. It's a C.
I don't think so, but
What is this Odin one? Odin wouldn't be Odin if what?
it's just him saying Odin wouldn't be Odin if it wasn't boiled at the end is all.
That wasn't funny.
That's kind of what I felt like.
We're laughing at a man who's standing in hot oil, staying alive for his friends now? That's the level we're at? No wonder
Apparently.
our world is so broken. Shinobu's mature appeal. I mean, it was, I did that. Is that a laugh? I don't know.
I think that's a C. That's not a D because you did a ha.
All right. Why are we laughing at pudding? What is it about pudding that's funny?
This is putting tsundere. Tsundere is a term for I don't like you, you jerk. And then they look at her and she goes, huh. Like the girl who's in love but mean and is like, I actually hate you. You know, bully crushing.
Ew. So that's a D.
Hey guys, believers who think we're gonna have stuff in common, this is a bad one for you, believers. You better hope the rest of these don't turn out this way. Believers, I'm not gonna spoil my whole chart, but believers, I did put that one in S tier. I think it's hilarious.
Ew. Fucking gross. If you like someone, you like them. Just say it, you weird ass fucker. Zoro and Sanji's rivalry. I mean, I don't think it's funny. I just think they're dumb
someone
brothers.
wanted a link. I forgot that I was doing that. So if you want to look at the tier list yourself and make it yourself, I'll have to send it on Twitch.
I'm gonna do Zoro and Sanji's rivalry at a good old strong B, but it's higher than some of these things. It's up there.
Okay, what I love is our chat is suddenly full of some people being like, I'm with mama, tsundere suck, and people being like, same Drawk. So apparently you go one way or the other on that one.
I think tsundere might be the fucking stupidest thing other than negging. It's so dumb.
There is a bit that I like better that's in the same vein in anime called yandere, which is women so obsessed with their crush they get psychotic about it and dangerous, which is also a great bit.
That's just trying to make women feel like we're psychotic.
There are so many jokes about men. I'm sorry, equality means we can make fun of both sexes.
Except for the thing is that men are psychotic. That's just fair.
Oh my god.
What's the one at the very bottom with the
Women
dinosaur?
can be punchlines. This is one of the great bits of Wano. This is how dinosaurs hunted in prehistoric times, with things like the Brachiosaurus ejecting itself to become a snake,
funny as shit.
the Triceratops flying like a helicopter.
Actually, no, that was S tier. That fucking joke line was funny as shit.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not defending yandere and tsundere as things for real life. Don't act like that, people. However, as bits, great comedy.
They're not good bits. They're
good
not funny.
good comedy. Yeah,
It's
this is how dinosaurs
comedy.
hunted is great. We did agree. That is, I will just say, both of us put that in S tier.
I'm not seeing correctly without her glasses. That's a C. Sometimes I go, huh.
Yeah, it's like
Crocus's misleading attitude. It's not funny. Is that funny? No.
Whoa. Do you remember this bit? Because this is the moment where they were in Laboon's.
They came up to him in the boat. Well,
they were in Laboon's stomach, and there was things like, he was Zoro. He'd be like, "Oh yeah, what do you go? If this came to a fight, it would end badly for one of us." And then it zooms in all hard, and Zoro's like, "For who?" And he goes, "For me."
That's right. That was funny. I'm gonna give you a high B. Hercules one? I don't remember this one.
Oh yeah, it was that someone pointing out. I remember writing, if it comes to a fight, one of us will die. Who? Me.
All right, that was funny. I'm giving it an A.
I forgot how
name is the Hercules one. What is that?
It was just Heracles and needing to say his name Heracles all the time. He was constant about it.
Nope. Food stuck over Virgo's cheek. Yeah, that's a
Between that
sympathy.
Yeah, him crying whenever he hears a sad story.
I love that. It's S tier. I hope they never stop.
Okay. This is just Gadatsu being dumb.
Yeah.
Like
I did. I gave it a good old huh.
He's just
I'm
so
always
over the top.
negative for Usopp.
It's weird because it's kind of a gag, but it's also like a hype moment where he can fight Perona, but it's Perona being unable to affect him.
I No, that wasn't really funny though. Why do you think I'm sitting here? We're making fun of Usopp's low-level lifelong depression from his father leaving him and his mom dying?
Yeah. Yeah, we are.
No, it's okay, Usopp. I see you, brother. That's not funny. We're not out here making fun of people's depression.
Hey, believers, this is a bad tier list for you.
It's upsetting, Usopp. You're a good boy. I want you to know that.
Yeah,
and I
good.
put your lies right at top tier.
People are pointing out Gadatsu was so dumb. At one point, he forgot how to breathe, and at another point, he forgot how to blink.
That is true. I just remembered when you said that. And he did have, you know what? I'm going to say I laughed. What is this one? I'm not, I can't read it. Look for my glasses is what I should do.
Scroll down. I can't see it.
All right.
Oh, can I see it on mine?
I don't know what that is.
Where did I put that? Where did I put what it is? Oh, I'm not a Tanuki. It's just Chopper being like, stop calling me a Tanuki. That's it.
Oh, I hate it. I wish people would stop calling him a Tanuki. So I'm going to give that a C. Sometimes I giggle.
The spoiler alert, that's where I put it too. Every once I'll be like, that's funny.
I'm going to give Ivankov a big old B.
Yeah, where he just starts saying something and then, just kidding. I love him.
Yeah.
He's great.
I'm going to give Kinemon's cluelessness a solid B.
Solid B.
I'm going to give Kizan's forgetfulness a solid B.
Okay.
Luffy Law and Kid's petty rivalry is amazing. I'm here for it all day today. I don't know why I like Lulu's protruding hair. It's just so good.
I forgot he existed, and his bit of like tamping down his hair is kind of cute, and it's just like a background thing played. It actually runs better in the anime too. I didn't put it as high. We got two more. Pika's voice.
Yeah, this is hard. Like, it's funny, and they make fun of it so much. He's so big. Yeah, I'm giving it an A.
Okay, and then You're Not My Type. Which
I don't remember who running joke.
This was Shirahoshi, and Vanderdecken would be like, "Why won't you just marry me?" And instead of being like, "You're a creep who's thrown axes at me my whole life," she's just, the way he projects him is just, "You're not my type."
That's just one more example of a woman trying not to get R word. Wow, hilarious.
Wow. Okay. We're gonna have some fighting words. So is there anything looking over this that you want to change? Re-examining. Remember, I specifically want you to look at the bottom row because I pointed out halfway through. That's where we're putting, like, we don't see that as a joke.
Baby S's dependence on others.
It isn't. It isn't. It's played as a joke, but
it's not funny. It's not a joke. Big Mom's hanger pains are consumerism. I'm popular. That's not funny. This
is a bad joke. Yeah.
Usopp's tactics aren't a joke. That's his awesomeness.
Okay.
Robin's whimsical imagination is just part of what makes Robin such a banger.
Oh, people want you to scroll up so they can see all of S tier.
Now can you see it?
Who's to say?
You.
Yes. I had to fix my frame too a little bit.
Somebody's identity. That's not funny. A stowaway pedophile. Never funny. I'm sorry. And the trauma of Beppo. Not fucking funny. We don't make fun of Beppo's trauma. We also don't make fun of Usopp's trauma. Odin boiling alive while sailing his friends. Pretty pathetic to say that's a joke. You're not my type, where a woman has to say you're not my type so she doesn't get a man's anger up so that he then attacks her and gets away from her rather than saying no, is not funny. It's just a part of the world that we have to live in, and it grosses me.
I mean, to be fair, he did try to steal Shirahoshi because she's hot, which is why she's saying pedophile, but I'll also, yeah. So you get to judge me now, because if you turn your attention to the stream.
How old when he started?
When he no, that's not that's Vanderdecken. Not Caribou. Not Caribou. She was, yeah. So It was because she's Poseidon that he wanted to kidnap her. That's true. So now you can judge me. Come over to the stream and take a look at, I have put my S tier as Crocus's misleading attitude is my top S tier joke. I fucking love it. It makes me laugh so much. Every time I've seen that scene, I laugh out loud. Then I put Robin's morbid imagination and her morbid comments, both, or her silly imagination and her morbid comments, both in S tier. I laugh every time. Clueless Kinemon up on the top. Absolutely. I fucking love it. Oh, You're Not My Type was a thing for Charlos at the Reverie. You're correct. I misunderstood what it was. I misremembered, I mean. It's a long series. We're going to make mistakes.
If it was for the dude at the Reverie while there was other people around too, that was still her trying not to anger a man so that he wouldn't do mean things to her.
How Dinosaurs Hunted and According to Plan are in my S tier. Pika's voice is in my S tier. The Hana Faces is in my S tier. So is Usopp's negativity. It made me laugh. Tsundere Pudding is up there and Luffy's nicknames. Do you have questions for me?
S tier that our good friend Usopp is got low layer
Yeah, it's incredibly funny. Yes.
Oh my god.
It makes me laugh. It's funny.
Mean kid.
And the reason I put Stowaway Caribou up in A tier is because it's funny to watch him get fucking bullied. And then in my not a joke, the only ones I put are Odin wouldn't be Odin if it wasn't boiled, Panda Man, because he's very important, Usopp's tactics, Super's not a joke, that's just a way of life, and I'm Odin. Those are my not a jokes.
All right, whatever.
Why is this? What is happening? Why is it still there if
I've given you a new thing to look at.
Have you?
Yeah, it's One Piece cover story arcs tier list.
Okay, so wait. The cover story arcs, I was thinking we may want to save this one because it doesn't have labels right now, which makes it really hard to decipher.
Okay.
So I think we should add labels to it and take that one on another time. We're just going to do 5 today. Unless we have time, then we can do that one as well.
I killed one and I'll never know what it was.
Do you want to... Oh, you closed one? Was it Drippy Snail?
Oh my god, was it Drippy Snail? I want to do Drippy Snail so bad.
We have... So the ones we have left... The ones we have left are Power Scaling, Drippy Snail, which I think will be fast, and then Epithets. Epithets is way too long. We were limiting it to only 30, and there's like 60 options. However, I think it's going to be pretty quick because it's just drag them to where they are based on vibes.
Listen to me. All I care about is finding Drippiest Snail right now.
Okay. Do you want me to send the link to you again? And
I've got it. I'm just
okay. For chatters in chat, check out Drippiest Snail. I have done my Drippiest Snail. I think this is gonna be a fast one.
So that they can do it too.
I sent it to them. I've sent it.
You're such a good kid.
Yeah, because I want to do cover stories. It's a good one. I just think it's gonna be really hard without the labels.
Okay, I don't know why my tier list maker went to tier list making instead of Drippiest Snail, but...
So Drippiest Snail was submitted by Sitting Here Turning O2 into CO2. Another one by them. They submitted 2 and both were really good.
It didn't get the whole Drippiest part. It just got the tier maker part. Just wait a minute, Drawk.
Okay, I'm waiting.
Drippiest Transponder Snail is maybe the list I've been waiting for my whole life. So
what I'm going to say about Drippiest Transponder Snail that I found interesting, whoops, ripped my frame apart. Don't worry about it. What I found interesting about this is it didn't end up just being my favorite characters get the highest spot, because some people's drip fits a snail better than others.
This is not a lie.
Like some people don't pull off snail.
I'm so excited.
All right.
I'm gonna get some water because I'm coughing.
You get water. I'll vamp with the people. I'll talk to them.
You better vamp about interesting things.
Yeah, I'll do my best. Yo, Squishies, what up, home slices? What up, straight G's? We chilling out there today. I'm gonna use this opportunity to talk about my game because I like to, because I just did some art for it that I really like. So we're gonna look at it. That's what we're doing now because I'm in charge of I'm at the helm. Yeah, let's just briefly take a look at this. Guys, would you take a look at this beautiful scene that I drew? Wow, don't we love it? I actually really like this. This is some art I did over the last little while doing some conversation streams. If you want to show up to conversation streams, generally I'll just be working on a long-term project. I'm planning on moving to 4 streams a week instead of 3 within a month or so. So we're going to be doing a lot more of these. I'm going to have guests on talking about expertise. I'm gonna have people on just having debates with me. I'm gonna fight chat about ideas. Yeah, I really like this. I'm making a critter game. These are some of the critters. You see the protagonist holding a crawfish along with their pie-light, the bug lighting the fire. Slog, the little slime frog there, warming by the fire. Rumblin, who is carrying in Skuldrin. I love it. What? Don't we love them? Don't we love these guys? Genuinely, I think this is some of my favorite art I've done for it. What's up? Am I done? Am I done about what?
Are you done vamping?
Yeah.
I had to have water because, yeah.
Yeah?
I'm so tired. I'm so tired of the sickness. Here we go. Buster call. More like bussin' call. Looking sharp, little buddy. It's good for the price. Might need an upgrade. Trade it in now. Some of these make me sad that we're saying mean things about snails.
Okay.
Okay, let's do this.
Way.
You
do it. Once again, I'm having technical issues for seemingly no reason.
Some of these snails are have been done dirty.
Yeah?
Like, for instance, the snail that is Mama is going to the bottom.
She doesn't come through in snail the best, does she? She doesn't translate to snail form especially well.
No, that shit is bad. That shit is bad. So bad.
Some people pull off snail a lot better than Charlotte Linlin.
She ain't snailing at a high level.
I think this is the Poseidon snail next, right?
The one at the top here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's it.
I can't decide how to feel
Neptune snail.
Neptune snail. I can't decide how to feel on him based upon his weird black spots there. It's good for the price.
Okay.
Who's this next snail?
I think I'm reevaluating some of mine as I go because I put them too low because I didn't realize the bar wasn't as high as I thought it would be. This snail's Croco snail. That's why he's got a scar and a cigar.
I'm gonna look up another picture of Croco snail because I don't think this is the doing him justice. I'm gonna look up Croco snail from One Piece and see if whoa. I have a lot of tabs about Arlo, Guthrie, etc.
Okay. Do they give him a cigar or is it manifested? That's a really good question. Pretty sure the Straw Hats have a snail. Like, they have a few. I don't know why. Have we seen what Luffy's snail looks like? It just gets a little scar on its cheek, right? We're doing deep snail research. I really expected you to just stick with this picture of crocodile snail. I wasn't expecting you to look into these.
It's pretty okay. He's looking sharp in the real world.
Okay.
Is this beige?
I'm not sure if it's beige. I think it might be, but it has a little mustache, which is cool. Yes,
doesn't matter.
I think, here's the thing. You're judging them in a vacuum. You're judging them based just off of the snail, not off of who they are. Like, this is just the snail itself.
Oh my god, what is this little guy? Why is he so sad?
I think that is Bon Clay's snail when he's telling them to escape and that he stayed to open the door.
Oh my god.
But you can't rank him based off of the scene. It's based off of the little guy look. It's based off of him.
How will I know? Look at him. He's just a sad little guy.
Okay.
He's fully at the top.
Okay.
This dude, who's Blackbeard snail, is disgusting. And
I think Blackbeard snail looks radical.
And yet I'm putting him at the top because
weirdly enough, Blackbeard just translates to snail well. Like, Blackbeard, he's not one of my favorite characters because of aesthetics. Like, I think he's got drip, but it's not like that's why I like him. Somehow, his look translates to snail better than man.
What is this snail for?
That's an Iva snail.
Yeah, Ivankov snail's pretty good. Looking sharp, little buddy.
We've already got a very different tier list of snails, other than both putting respect on the name of Blackbeard snail. Although he isn't my
Well,
top
you're
snail.
wrong is the thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
This
allowed to be wrong.
looking sharp little buddy too.
That one with the silly mustache, the curly Q mustache.
And the great, amazing stripy body.
He does have a stripy body.
Put a
Dr.
bow
Jack,
tie
that
on
snail's
a
fast.
put a bow tie on a snail, and I'm like in.
Yeah, that's the real snail from One Piece live action.
I love it. This layered Charlotte snail.
Yeah, that Katakuri.
Yeah,
He looks so fucking cute with his scarf.
He's all the way up here.
That's fair. Oh, that's Oda's Den Mushi. That's for talking to Oda. That's really good. I didn't realize. I'm ranking them on aesthetic though. The live action. Yeah, the golden Den Mushi is the Buster Call snail.
It's great. This angry snail of slashed scarredness is who?
Yeah, I think that's a vice admiral or something. I don't know. He's cool looking. He's one of the Arlong pirates, isn't he? He's Fisher Tigers or Hody Jones is. Okay. He's cool looking.
This snail here is good for the price as well.
Okay.
Whose is that? A little hat? Whose little hat is that?
Whose little hat?
Whose snail is this?
Where? Which one? What are we talking about?
The one with the curly Q in between his eyeballs that I just put in. It's good for the price.
I have no fucking idea. I cannot begin to tell you who that belongs to.
This snail here needs an upgrade. I don't know who he belongs to, but let's be honest. All he's got is some eyelashes. Other than that, he's pretty boring.
That's Jimbei snail. He's got the little eyebrows, but that's fair.
It's very, very mid. And this little snail here, it looks like he has one of those baboon's asses as a nose. And
it's funny because that's Polly and that's his sunglasses, but because he's a snail, they're just sitting on his nose. Or it's his goggles?
No.
Oh, because they normally sit on his forehead, and a snail's forehead is under its eyes. That's why.
It ends up looking like a baboon's ass.
It doesn't come through well, does it?
No.
Like
this is
Iceberg's the curly
choice.
Q one.
Oh, Iceberg's is cute. The snail with this bit of hair coming out of the top that looks like a gladiator is pretty damn good.
He kind of got vibe, honestly.
Looking sharp.
Mm-hmm.
This snail with the hat needs an upgrade. No offense, he was great at one time, but it looks like he's in
he's
all
outdated.
Value Village and needs steam.
He's a Value Village snail. It's so fucking funny.
Yeah, he's a full Value Village snail. I'm not there for it. This snail's got some good facial hair, but I don't like the way they did this snail's.
I think that's Cobra snail.
It can stay there.
Yeah.
This snail is popping off like a motherfucker. Look at that snail. With the big mustache and the great eyelashes. He looks just... Is he queen snail?
No, that's one of the projector snails.
I don't give a shit. That snail is doing it.
I want it noted. We put those in opposite. You put that top, I put that in the bottom tier.
I love that fucker.
I looked at him and was like, oh.
Here needs an upgrade. It's just so like...
That's Sanji snail. We don't respect Sanji snail in this house.
No. Who's got the scar across their whole face when we already did what's his head?
I think that's Frankie's, and it's meant to be the scars over his chest being replicated.
Hate it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's pretty boring. You could do so much more with Frankie's, to be honest.
Okay, a lot of people put the one you loved in the bottom with me. I'm glad.
How could you hate something with amazing
eyelashes? Oh, it's Smokers. It's Smokers.
Oh, that's Smoker snail? Yeah, that's where it goes.
Okay.
This angry old snail with the roulette back is somehow...
Yeah, that's the silver transponder snail.
Okay, can I just say that this next one here looks like it has a hole going into its body, and it makes me very uncomfortable.
That's just because he's been picked up. When you pick up the receiver, they all have that hole at the top usually.
I hate it.
Is like that mid? I think that's what's his face. I think it's Spandam. Oh, Sengoku snail? Whoa, I didn't realize. Crazy.
It's mid, is what it is.
Damn.
This snail here with the piggy tails?
Yeah, that's Lola or Chiffon's. I think Chiffon.
It's looking sharp.
Damn, I put that in the bottom. I looked at it and was like, holy fuck, this haunts me. This snail haunts me. It is Spandam. People are right. People are saying I was right.
This snail here is how you do
Yeah,
sunglasses.
that's Baron
It's top
Tamago's.
tier.
It's real good.
Is the best snail.
Here, I put that in the second highest tier, but I should put it higher up in that tier.
It was the best snail until I saw this snail belonging
Dofi?
to Doflamingo.
I'll be real, I also put that in the top tier. It's Dofi snail is great.
Dofi snail is perfect. And you know what else is perfect? Frickin' Law's snail.
Law snail looks so fucking smug.
Yes. Also baked.
He looks high and smug. Yes, that is where he's at.
Pretty sure Law's snail, unlike Law, who is super uptight, I think Law's snail just sits around and does his medications all day.
Yeah, Dofi's drip translates to snail even better than Blackbeard. I love Blackbeard snail. He translates to snail very well. Dofi's and Law's look perfect. They are so right.
This sad snail I have to move down to. I have to upgrade, even though I don't want to.
Okay.
The black and white snail, belonging to the dude. I don't know why I like him.
Okay. I don't know what that is. Oh, this is Hawkins. I misremember. I didn't remember that. I put that in the lowest tier. This is my bottom ranked snail. I don't like him.
It's not good.
This one Spandums? Oh, I hate this one even more.
This one here, the one with the hair and the ruffle.
Yeah.
I fucking hate.
We have some different opinions. I like that one.
Whose is it?
I can't remember. I think one of the Charlotte siblings.
I hate it. This snail here with the weird Sudoku puzzle on his side.
That's just a number pad to dial stuff.
I don't like that snail.
He's got a plume of feathers. He's green. He's got attitude. Okay. Wow.
This next snail, you can all F the bees because this is a sad moonstone snail. It's the first different kind of snail and shell we've ever seen. I love it, and his sadness makes me love him.
That's another one we did opposite. I put that in the lowest tier. I just looked at him and was like, oh.
This snail from another Charlotte.
That's Sparrow.
I know. Is it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
This snail here needs an upgrade badly.
I think that's Zoro speaking through the Straw Hat snail.
Yeah, you're right. But it needs an upgrade. It's just not there yet.
I put it in, might need an upgrade too.
Snail with eyeglasses always goes at the top.
Kind of kicks ass. Like that snail looks pretty good.
And this snail needs an upgrade as well.
Yeah. So I'll show you my snail list so that you can tell me what you think if I've snailed incorrectly. We have a few big disagreements, but we have mostly agreements.
Okay, make yours big so I can compare them.
I think this might be the first one that there's a chance we got half of them in the same tier. So I put crocodile as my favorite. I love crocodile snail. We put...
You do that when Dofi snail exists.
We put 4 of the same in the top tier, which is pretty great. You put a lot of the top tier.
I'm moving some of these snails.
We got a few of the same in the second tier.
These are all staying.
By which I mean, I think literally just the beige one. I think that's all we got the same. In the next tier, we both put Neptune. We both put Cobra. We both put the silver snail. I did not put did I put iceberg? Nope. Well, we have a couple. Might need an upgrade. Basically nothing the same and might need an upgrade. And as far as traded in now, I think we put the same amount. I put one more, but entirely different snails. We didn't agree on we only agreed on one.
Great big mustachio snail.
I hate that fucker. I look at him and he freaks me out.
How did you see that?
He freaks me the fuck out.
You've made me very sad right now.
Okay. Are we ready? Do you want a power scale or do you want to try to burn through epitaphs as fast as you can? Epithets as fast as you can.
No, I think we should do more tier lists later if you want to talk at all, because I have to get off by 4:30 today, because I don't know if you've heard this.
You have to go by 4:30.
I need to be available for
Okay. Then, I think we can't treat it as 3+ because we only got through half of them. But I think it does work out to the only way you won is if you betted that we wouldn't agree on any of them, because we didn't get over half agreement on a single tier list.
When can I do the rest of these? Tier lists are my favorite.
I mean, we can just do it next week after Berserk.
Okay.
I'm excited for epithets. I have saved it. I know what I did. I just threw them into place. That one was awesome. The tier list one is going to be maddening. Okay, we ready? Are we ready to go?
I'm opening my window. Can you turn off your music?
Turn off the music so that we can get in the One Piece zone.
One Piece zone.
All right, jockey music, prepare to die.
Dr. Jack.
Dr.
wants
Jacob.
to know, what about the predictions? Do we have to just go through
the
all
predictions?
Of
the thing is, for predictions, while we didn't do a full 6, we have a winner, which is if anyone guessed that we wouldn't agree on a single one, that's what won. We didn't agree on any of them. I think next time we'll have to do it percentage-wise instead of a number. I was mistaken for how we set it up. But realistically, we could have been pretty fair by being like, oh, we agreed on 2 of them, so 3+ wins. We only agreed on 1, so 3 or less wins. Because we didn't agree on a single one, I say we just go as simple as 0%. If anyone bet that we wouldn't agree on any of them, that's the winner of the poll.
And then like 25, 50, 75, and 100.
We've done it.
What do you think? What do you think?
I think that's, and then the closest to that, yeah.
Yeah.
It turns out the best bet is that we won't agree.
You have bad opinions.
I have great opinions. I'm always right is the cool thing. 0 out of 6 is the winner. Yep.
Your opinions are bad.
My opinions are really good. I don't think we can have a prediction for this next part of the stream. Tier list stuff, we're not going to do a plug for. We'll do a plug during the tableau, there's so much to talk about. We're going to go fucking crazy. This mural is going to kill us. This mural is going to fucking kill us. I need to bring up
Who won on the 0 of 6?
What's up? What?
Who won?
Who won? I don't know who got points. Somebody won. EA Killer got a lot of bets, got a lot of points.
You know why? EA Killer knows how bad your opinions are.
EA Killer agrees with me and knows that you're going to say some wild shit is actually what happened. Engelsimp bet the 3 out of 6. That's a shame. That's a shame because we got 0 Engelsimp. I think if we had gotten like 1 and then 1 was close, we would have given it to people who bet 3 out of 6. We will next time do more of a percentage system, and then the closest to that is what wins.
You want to see my picture?
Oh, Frostfire Tiger. Your picture? Sure.
All right.
I'm going to bring up the murals that I have reference before we
You can show the mural to the squishies, okay?
Stretch.
Did you hear me?
Can I what?
Can you show the mural to the squishies?
Oh, yeah. I actually have to switch my screen. I forgot about that. That's important. Guys, I'm actually going to stand up and stretch for a second. I'm stiff as hell. Oh, look at my lovely Pikachu and cat. My office has a giant squishmallow Pikachu. He's our friend. We love him. Oh, the stretching. Oh, it needs to happen.
Are you ready, Drawk?
What up, homie?
You're gonna share this.
What am I sharing? Is sharing herring? The science is out.
Sometimes, Drawk.
I'm sleepy.
Sometimes, Drawk, you just really Drawk.
You gotta send it to me on the Drawk Show Discord. If you send it to my social Discord, I won't get it because that is not open at the moment.
Discord. The Drawk Show. Send. Now you have to flip it. You have to flip it and show the friends.
Okay. Well, that's the wrong layer. Why does your phone take pictures at such a high resolution? Oh my god. Like, I don't draw on a low resolution, and it was not big enough to accommodate. Okay. This is Mama's beautiful mural recreation in her notebook because she's been going crazy.
That's how I do my thinkies.
Oh no, Leo, we just finished tier lists. I'm so sorry. We just finished the tier list. We're moving on to theorizing now. I think it's beautiful. I think you've done an excellent job.
Yeah. I think
Hmm.
it's immaculate.
Excuse me, I yawned a bit.
It lets me do the thinkies.
All right.
All
The
right, let's
colored
do
pens
this.
are really good.
Yeah,
Are you
they
ready to
really are. Okay,
lose
but
our
wait. No, show
goddamn
mine
mind?
first. Go back to mine. I need to show something.
Okay, yes. Yes.
It's because of doing this that I'm able to think. So if you take a
Mhm.
look at my picture and you see the stripy line down the center of the beast on the right-hand side,
Okay.
and then the X's on it, right? And then you
Yes.
see in the back the two planets above the moon and how one has that stripy line and one has the X. I think that proves that whoever came to Earth to abuse Earth is a combination of those two planets, and that is a combination of their machine killer thing that is attacking and fighting on their behalf. And I think that can be like a whole
Huh.
Shinto thing too, with the
Huh.
underground and a princess, the whole Peach, Princess Kiriagi. But I honestly think that he was trying to show, because he created the stripies that are in the middle on that one planet. You can see it in the original. And
Yep.
then a planet with a bunch of X's on it, 5 X's, as a matter of fact. I went back and took a look in some of the other pages, and you see both of those on that monster. It's supposed to be telling us that whatever is attacking came from above there. That's what I think.
Hmm.
Like,
Interesting.
it kind of makes sense according to that
Interesting.
look.
God, this is
Yeah.
blowing my. This has been. Guys, this mural's been driving me insane. Are we ready
Okay,
to do a
go
YouTube
away.
intro? Are we ready to do a YouTube intro for the YouTube people out there?
Yeah, we are. You can.
I gotta. I gotta wake my
Oh, how
brain
come
up.
my picture is so blurry on your screen?
That's the picture you gave me. I literally just copied it in.
I should send you a better picture.
Well, that's what you gave me. All right, I'm gonna do a big yawn. I'm gonna do a big stretch, and then I'm gonna do a YouTube intro because I need to get the tireds out.
See that sick ass shirt that he was wearing? I bought him
Yo,
that sick
you
ass
did like
shirt.
fucking 3 years ago. It's actually holding up for like a
It's time to
cotton
get another
anime
sick
shirt.
ass
It's in
shirt.
good condition.
Yeah.
Okay. What's up, people of YouTube? Welcome to the Drawk Show. We're going to be theorizing about the second world from the Harley text. The second one. Is that what they call it? They call it the second world?
Yay!
That's what they call it? All right.
Hello, squishies. It's me, Mama Drawk, moving my pop filter so I don't make you crazy.
All right. Why not? Why don't you want to make people crazy?
That's rude?
I should buy a pop filter, huh?
Yeah, dude, you should. It's rude.
I've tried to buy them and I've been like, whoa, how do you even,
I got a pop filter for such a cheap ass price, and it's so cute.
Is it? All right. So let's talk about it. What did we go over last time? And is there any revisions we want to do? Well, last time we talked about the first world weeks and weeks ago. We talked about our ideas there that humanity were enslaved, possibly to themselves, possibly to others, that they were in, that they accessed some great power, that they were harvesting the underworld was my theory. But we had lots of thoughts about what could be going on in the underworld or what in the first world. It's confusing. And I want to talk about, can we start right away by talking about something you brought to my attention, which is the Dawn and Dusk theory video, where they went over something a lot of people have been talking about, which is the idea of the One Piece world being a Dyson sphere, a world that is built to cover over a small star or sun to harvest it for energy. Because that would change the first world and change a lot of what we're looking at. How are you feeling about that? Where are you on that?
Okay, well, I love a lot of his theories. I think that he's done a really cool job. I liked when he talked about the Lunarians being the people who were down on the blue planet, which he is calling the red planet, and that it
Mm-hmm.
would have been on fire. Um and that they were harvesting its insides, and that's why they changed it from a world on fire that the Lunarians lived on. I especially love it because then it makes that image that we created, that we decided would be Lunarians at the top of the tree there. It would make it like they were trying to protect the tree from everyone else. And it would also make sense then because it would, if the Lunarians were the ones coming down, it would make less sense for me that they would have been on the moon coming down, and more sense to me that they are called behind the moon on those two other planets. And it would make more sense to me that that monster would be a combination of those two planets who came down. But I think then that there would have had to been a stop off at the moon where they got together, because there's a whole underground society that was there, remember? And so I think like it took them time to make their way down. But you know what I was thinking is he said something really interesting in there about how these planets in particular, and there's a few more, plus the little blue planet that used to be on fire in his perspective, would have been in a different solar system before, and that they would have broken off. And it started to make me think, because I looked at the picture that is in there of O'Hara, where they show this planet as being at the center and then the ones around it, started to make me wonder, why can everyone breathe the atmosphere and everywhere out in space? And it started to make me wonder if there is more going on with a secret from the Void Century that actually turned these into its own little miniature solar system, and that maybe this was supposed to be the sun for all of the rest of the planets.
Or
and
maybe that this is such a massive object that like things in low orbit are still within atmosphere.
Yes, and that they intentionally made it so there's some sort of protective outer, am I saying bubble? I don't know, that has encapsulated all of these moons, planets together and created their own atmosphere for all of them to move and live within. And that outside of this, because we've never seen outside of this, you couldn't travel, you couldn't move, you couldn't breathe. And that this is actually, all of them are working together as a unit, and we're supposed to be together.
God, this is so fucking difficult. So the SBS, have you read the new SBS? Because a bunch of new SBS questions were answered.
You know that my thing is that I read everything on Sunday.
All right, then here's what's up. Do I need
to open the SBS?
I'm going to send you a compilation, and I want you to go through, and while I'm working on the mural, read through this, because I think this is relevant.
Can I just go to Shonen?
Well, no. Well, because it would be added in retroactively on all the chapters in Shonen Jump, so it'd be a lot harder than in the summation I'm sending you. Well, didn't he not really casually reveal the name? He revealed that it's called Blue Planet or something. Isn't that the thing? Or is it something else? Did I miss it?
What?
Everybody tell me, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't it just called Blue Planet? Isn't that what it is?
Yes, and he thinks it was red before, and it is just called Blue Planet. Or the Blue Star.
Okay, it's called Blue Star or Blue Planet. Well, the thing is, planet and star have the same word in Japanese. It just means celestial body. But it was also, yes, name dropped on the Eneru cover story.
Are you sending me a thing?
I sent you a thing.
Oh, I love it.
Oh my God. It's been referred to Blue Star / planet before by Eneru in the cover story, correct? Which is what has me believe that maybe it wasn't a red planet, but I'm thinking about something now, right? This is us going back. We'll go forwards into Second World in a second, but we kind of need to adjust our expectations. A reason I'm thinking maybe it wasn't the red planet is, hear me out. What if the reason it was called Blue Planet was because there was also a red planet, and red planet became the Grand Line? Because if you look at that, like you said, if you look at that thing in the sky, right? The thing in the sky?
I can't see it. You made me go and
No. Remember your mural you drew? One of the planets in the sky has the same pattern as the serpent, which we think became the red line. Yeah. So what if they pulled that planet onto the blue planet to make the red line?
Maybe. Yes.
Maybe it was the god of Earth. Was that planet?
I have to go back. I can't read this thing you sent me. It's just a dumb thing about kid.
Well, this is the SBS. You can click the forward button to look at the other SBS answers.
Okay. That's good.
For if you see anything relevant. Oh, guys, this is tough. Okay. Let's talk about, once you're done that, I think you get in touch with the new SBS so that you're up to date, and then we'll just get into our thoughts about the second world. And I think this one's going to be a bit more debate-like, because I think we're going to have a lot of little disagreements and thoughts about stuff. And that's how we're going to get to the answer the best. The Arlong
I
question
can't.
is very funny.
I don't want to do this SBSing anymore.
All right, you don't have to. That's allowed. You just won't know what's
I want to go
happening, and
back to where
you'll.
I'm supposed to. No, I just can't find it. The one you
Oh,
want me to look.
oh, okay.
It's not fun for me.
You just hit the forward button. It goes to the next one.
I did. I went up to all of them, and I don't know which one you wanted me to look at.
I honestly don't think any of it's that relevant. The biggest thing is naming the One Piece world as the Blue Planet / Blue Star is an official name now for the One Piece world. And then the other thing that's relevant is backstory of Hanafuda, the warlord that Ace defeated.
Yeah, I already know that because it was in Dawn to Dusk too. He said the same thing, Blue Planet. But he said that he thought that it was originally a red planet that looked that had a bluishness. That he thinks that the red line came about from burning of the iron and oxygenating. I don't necessarily agree with that one.
I think a lot of that's possible in concept. The big reason I don't like that, and I don't like a lot of the discussions about nuclear fusion and nuclear energy being something we're going to specifically touch on in name, is because I don't think about the way that we talk about DNA. We don't talk about, oh, there's these 2 chemical bonds on either, or 4 different chemicals that bond on opposite sides of a helix, and that's what determines it. We talk about lineage factor as this very ambiguous, like, this is what guides progress and evolution. This is what guides how you are. It's just the One Piece word for genetics. So I can't see us having any answer that feels like it's going to require talking about specific chemistry and progresses to explain. Anything like that, I think, is kind of off the table. However, a conceptual nod to is very possible, which is why I'm not ruling out that this planet used to be the sun. For my money, I don't think this planet used to be the sun.
Apparently.
Yes. For my money, I don't think this planet used to be the sun, but I could see something kind of similar, and I'm not sure
I have
what.
the same feeling. I think it would be more like this planet could have been hot. This planet could have been something that was on fire. It does make sense that they keep mentioning that the Lunarians are capable of living within any atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
It is at the center, which is weird. Oh, and then Frostfire plus heliocentric. It is at the center, which makes sense that it would warm the other planets. But on the other hand, I don't know if it. And the Lunarians are on fire, so living in fire does make some sense. But also, I was thinking about how he gives such obvious clues in such weird ways that won't feel like clues until later on.
Yes.
And then you're like, thanks, buddy. And one of those clues that I was thinking about is that we went to an island that was half fire, half ice. And and I was thinking about when we were at there that it was inhospitable to anyone, but you could have still had homes. You would have had to have had strange structured homes in the fireside that were I don't know, rock and blah blah blah. But I don't see the Lunarians as being able to have like a deep, rich culture with all sorts of like innovations, et cetera, if the whole planet was on fire.
Yeah.
They ended up having to
I don't see humans. I don't see humans as having been able to be there to begin with if the whole planet was on fire. Like
his theory is that because it was the Lunarians, and the Lunarians actually are made of part fire, that they can live in, and they can live in any atmosphere. That's what he's speaking of.
Yes.
But it doesn't feel like that's the kind of society that you wouldn't be able to create this great society if it was all on fire.
I also don't think it puts us in a difficult position, right? Where if we look at this, it really doesn't feel like, looking at the mural, that the Lunarians could have been on Earth in the first world. And if the world was fully on fire, if it was fully a sun, it doesn't feel like all this could have been happening. Now, you could say, people have said that maybe this all wasn't on Earth, the blue planet, that all this was up here, and that's what we're seeing. But that doesn't feel right to me, because then it doesn't feel like this serpent coming down is we're talking about a theory from Dawn and Dusk. But it doesn't feel like it checks out to have this long history in this world that was established if it was a sun, if it was just a ball of fire beforehand. And that's what I'm kind of lost on. Now, could it have happened if the era before was a world that was like, how do I put this? was a sun that had been Dyson sphered, that they'd use some magic or technology to encase the sun and harvest its essence. Well, here's what I've said. If we are in the world where we are suggesting that it was a sun, can I talk to you about, I'm going to talk about what I think happened, what did that, how it was working. Because I want to tell you how I would, with the way One Piece works, justify that. We see in the sky, one of the planets has a band the same as this, the same as the band on the red line. So my thinking is that if this used to be a sun that these other planets, like what is now the moon, orbited, I think that they used their command over the gods to encase parts of it in rock. Then they drilled into it with the treasure tree Adam and the sun tree Eve, which had the job of extracting the sun's energy. And humans were made in the garden to serve the gods until they rebelled. It's a nice Garden of Eden paralog or analog. It runs parallel with tons of different myths. It puts them in a position to be a creator. It gives them a reason to come down as these modified beings, the Lunarians, to have the durability to survive the planet outside of these little islands they've made for themselves. But it just doesn't quite fully click to me. It doesn't feel right to me. How do you feel about that? Because that feels like close to how I'd imagine it would be if this world was a sun, but it doesn't feel right. How do you feel?
I don't think he's right on that the whole world was on fire. I can get behind the idea that the Lunarians were already on the Earth. I really can, because when you see that center figure and we thought of that as being a Lunarian where you put it, it makes sense then that the Lunarians would be protecting kind of like the mother tree. I don't think it's all on fire at all. I need to be a weirdo and kind of like skip forward in the theory to say to say a thing. And that's just that okay, so number one, we see people building great vessels of destruction here. One of them is obviously the Ark. We think these are the three vehicles of destruction that they're pouring the essence in, the greedy essence in. That's the one that makes me wonder, are they trying to bring that back to the sky? Because remember that Enel says that the gods live amongst the sky. So his theory makes less sense if you're thinking about it as the gods live amongst the sky and the gods came to Earth. So then I would say the gods could be the people who now call themselves the gods, the dragons. And their two combined nations could have come, and that's why this dragon thing is covered in that line and the 5 X's that are on that other planet. I'd say that makes sense.
I want to talk about a framing that I think you'll like, that I think is really reframes how we look at this. Because I think people get far too often into One Piece needing to have, well, who are the gods? And I think, here's my take, we can't see it that way. Because throughout all of One Piece, everything that's been a god has been a god because it's called a god. And even if we're getting into literal gods, it's not like they have divine powers. They have powers similar to everything else. Luffy has a literal god fruit. Okay, but does he bend reality more than Law's fruit? That is not said to be a literal god. Sengoku has a literal god fruit. He literally just gets big and makes shockwaves. The Celestial Dragons are called gods because they rule the world. My take is that gods and demons are basically the same thing. That demons are going to be magic. They are where magic comes from. And gods are when a demon is supposed to be respected and appreciated. Now, we're talking about the second world today. So I want to talk about how I see this having happened. Grand Line Review did an awesome video where he talked about the fact that we've seen there be multiple conversations about, the ages of One Piece. So I'm going to go off for a second here. And the ages are the age of the Sea Circle and the age of the gods. Now, the age of the Sea Circle runs, like, I think we're in the year 1600 or something, which tells us that the Grand Line and Red Line have existed for over the 800 years since the Void Century. Why is this important? Why is this important? Because it means... It means this fucker came down, this big bastard came down like 800 fucking years before the Void Century when our Celestial Dragons rose up and took over. Then they deleted 100 years of history. Before that was the Age of the Gods. My take is, okay, that before this era, before the First Age was snuffed out by the Sea Circle, the Grand Line and Red Line being formed to separate the world and divide people, I believe there were creatures called demons, creatures of myth and energy coming from the underworld. They were the fire within the earth, sprouting up and out. That was the sun within the earth. The forbidden sun was the underworld, the world of dreams and myth. And they were everywhere. And humans were learning to harvest that, like we talked about before with the Mother Flame. I believe that was said to be no, because humanity was trying to reach the level of gods. I think that's works as a Tower of Babel and ancient Greece and a ton of other mythologies reference. There's tons of mythologies that talk about humanity harnessing powers that are not meant to them to the point that God or gods need to snuff them out. That's kind of my take. Now, after that ended, I believe that's the sort of the second world, is the the Age of the Sea Circle beginning. The second world, we talked about the fact that we believed the forest god taming demons being the creation of devil fruits. I think it goes further than that. So I'm sorry, are you okay if I just keep ranting for a second, then spin it back to you in a moment?
Just for a second.
Yeah. So, like I've said before, I believe the Lunarians are the forest god. I believe they put themselves in the height of the world because they were like, humanity can't self-govern. We left the world to them to have free will, and they abused this beautiful power of dreams to start wars with each other, to fight each other, to take over, to try to reach greater powers than they were allowed. We can't leave it to them anymore. We're taking over. The Lunarians are the forest god, and they either plant the second tree, the sun tree, or it was already there and they protect it. They protect the sun tree from the Red Line's creation. Because you've talked about the fact that we've both talked about the fact that the ancient weapons are allegories to these big, giant, dark figures here, the godly figures. You've talked about the fact that you think Uranus is shunting things into another dimension, so it could reasonably blip out the sun tree to protect it briefly by letting it live in the underworld briefly. Either way, it is my belief that it feeds off of the underworld, yeah. It feeds off the underworld and was a font connecting it to the underworld and where all these creatures of myth were. And that the Lunarians did a few things. They managed to have warriors who they could control with demonic powers by infusing someone's body with a devil, by growing fruit from the tree containing devils. God, we have to go into so much. Can I actually, let's put a bookmark there, spin it back to you, and then after you have your talk, let's talk about our theory about MADs, because I think we need to talk about that before we can continue this.
Yeah. So it's so all over the place, and the reason it's so all over the place is because we have so many theories now
so fucking
roaming, and
much.
some of them cross-purpose each other, and yet
Yes.
we believe them.
Yes.
So, like, for instance, I started to think, once I realized that he made the same pattern on Loki as he made on the planet and on the dragon, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the original Loki in the mural that he did, that same pattern is in 3 places, and those are the 3 places.
Yeah.
He didn't put the X's on Loki, so Loki feels like he comes from one of the places. So I started to think, I'm now fully obsessed with the idea of those 2 planets coming down to Earth, whichever people they were. I think there is a stopping off point, though, because the inside of the moon is for sure got all of those ruins. Okay, but
yeah.
I can see the Lunarians having been here only because, do you know how many times we talk about why is it that so many different creatures have wings, and they have different types of wings, and da-da-da-da-da. So
Well,
I see the Lunarians as being a whole part of anyone with wings anyone who doesn't have the Lunarian style wings is like a thinning out of Lunarian blood, and I don't mean that in a blood quantifying way.
But I want to, the reason I go the other direction, and I'm not saying you're for sure wrong, but I just want you to consider the evidence. The reason I go in the other direction is because it seems like the races of the Shandians, the Birkins, and the Skypians existed on the moon, but the Lunarians didn't. So that's why I feel like the Lunarians didn't exist as a group until they came down.
They are like cousins, if that's the right word that I'm looking for. They are more closely related than the other people.
I agree. I can't talk about what I think they are until we go into Mads. Do we want to talk about that? Was it you who first? I think we both kind of came up to it bit by bit, but because I came up with the furthering, but you brought up that you thought Caesar Clown was giving us hints. So do you want to do that? And then I'll talk about how I expanded your theory a bit.
When I started to look at his theory and say like, okay, if the entire thing was on fire, and I was like, it doesn't really make sense that the whole earth would be on fire.
Oh, by his, she means dawn to dusk. Dawn and dusk, I think. Either way.
It doesn't make sense that the whole world would be on fire to me yet. Like I enjoyed a bunch of the theory, but that's not where I'm at. When I look at it though, and I see Caesar Clown on the area and taking back over the area that was on fire, that used to just be a place of, well, experimentation for the government.
Yes.
And that he went into that place and took it over. I started to think, well, Oda loves to put things right out into the open in our face, right? So I was like, what is he telling us with Caesar Clown? Caesar Clown comes in after people screw up their environment, and he starts to make mad experimentation, but he doesn't have the same capability as Vegapunk does. So his experiments are incomplete and rough, and it's like he's gone back in time in his experimentation in comparison to Vegapunk. And he's having to remake, remodel, and redesign experiments that if he had worked with Vegapunk and that information hadn't have been lost, then he would have been able to make, together they could have made bounds forward. But instead, he's having to basically redesign it and coming up with this idea like the smile fruit and other things like this. And then I thought, my God, it's like Oda is putting a hint right there in the open that we are living in an age that is cut off from the technological information of the past. And even Vegapunk is having to make things up that didn't exist before and is therefore also screwing them up, whether you like it or not. Think about his weird ass little children that he's made and the way that he's used Kuma and all these other things that are honestly not always awesome or helpful to the world. And I was like, so it is like a story within a story that he is trying to tell us. Caesar Clown is a miniature version of what's taking place in the larger version. So then I was like, okay, then what is he trying to tell us about the world? Why did Caesar Clown go to a place that had been through battle and had been environmentally destroyed and was either too cold or too hot? It also mirrors our own world in places. Some places are becoming colder, like Texas getting snaps and cold freezes and ruining people's lives and freezing pipes. And then some people are getting too hot and it's killing crops that existed, and just trees like the cedars, etc. And I was like, it feels like he is trying to make a world within a world reference so that if we paid attention, we can use Caesar Clown as a larger showing of what's taking place in One Piece.
But then on hearing that, I sat with it for a little bit and then called Mama back the next day. And hear me out on something. One Piece is making it clear that each of these worlds has happened in cycles, right? Vegapunk has told us that he's not a man of the future, he's a man of the past, recreating technologies that already existed. We are being told that the acts of great science from him and his compatriots are actual just mirrors of the past. And I started to think, holy fuck, what if every single bit of science we're seeing from Vegapunk and everyone at Mads is meant to be a recreation of something that was done in the past? I already treated the boy. You missed it. He came up on my lap. It was great. So let's think about this. We would want some evidence. We would want some places where they were doing things that we think had been done in the past. Well, the Mother Flame is one. We know that for a fact. Robots, we know those existed. But what about a group of super people? Well, I started to think the Seraphim were made to be unstoppable people. So were the whatchamacallums, the Vinsmokes. They were built to be the absolute peak of possibility, to be invincible creations. My theory for a while has been that the reason we don't see any Lunarians on the moon, we just see pictures of Shandians, Birkins, and Skypeans, is that those were the races on the moon, and that the ruling class who came down modified themselves into the unstoppable Lunarians. And now the Seraphim are just a better recreation of that. But I also started to think, what else? Or this is something Mama brought up. What else were these guys doing? Well, we have seen Caesar try to make giants. We've seen Vegapunk make dragons and ancient giants. We have seen Caesar, importantly, make animal people, which made us start to think, oh shit, what if the minks were created by the Lunarians? And I started to think, what if they were one of the first attempts to create these super people that were the Lunarians? That's why when minks go sicko mode, they get the white hair and the red eyes. Now,
and then we said, what about the fish people? Where did they come from?
And they have that box of drugs that also makes you get white hair and red eyes and superpowers.
Exactly.
Here's my take on the white hair, red eyes, and superpowers. And you might find this crazy, but I think I'm right here. We've said it before. I think in One Piece, demons and gods are the same thing. It is just a matter of perspective. I think the true nature of a pure, powerful devil that was trapped in a devil fruit to give someone devil fruit powers is white hair, red eyes, smoke clouds. I think all that shit is their manifestation. I think the reason that Jewelry Bonnie can turn into that isn't just because, you know, she believes in it. I think it's because that's true awakening. That is truly unifying with the demonic force within it. I believe that the reason, and I'm gonna be proven wrong real soon if I'm wrong, the reason Loki so strongly believes he can be the sun god is I think his fruit can do the same thing. I don't know if Loki can, because I don't know if he sees himself as free yet, but I think it is possible for him to do that same sort of sicko mode transformation. This is all going crazy, but hear me out about this. We've talked for a while about how Vegapunk was missing something. It looks like the Mother Flame is perfect, but it's missing something. Well, I've said before that I don't think it's as simple as fusion or fission. I think that the flame within the earth was tapping into the energies of hell. That by siphoning it out carefully, by covering it with the cork, that was, oh my god, I just realized something about this is going to tie into your theory with Izanami we talked about last time. I think corking hell with the sun tree allowed them to siphon out devil powers, and they experimented first on minks and with the drugs they gave to the fishmen to make their subservient groups. And they have this access to white hair, red eyes, because they were given the ability to be infused with devils and demons. I also, Law did the experiment. Well, he was working for Caesar, so I'm going to count it. Oh, wait, but he did make animal people with smiles. He made animal people with smiles. Because they're not proper devil fruits. Anyways, I think that they put the essence of this demonic energy into themselves. That's why they work as fallen demons, and they are, or fallen angels, and they are angels who truly came from the sky to live on the red line, the ground, which is why they are styled after demons, but because it's One Piece, they're demons who call themselves gods.
Paladin Berserker mentioned the animals that Gaiman was protecting, and I love this, or Gaiman is protecting, and I love this because it's also could be seen as an early iteration of trying to make animals with different strengths and fish and etc., and experimenting with giving them personality and human-like qualities, and it would be the quote-unquote failures, and over time they have babies and they continue to be this not animals. It would be a really interesting thing because Oda put it so early in the story that it would be a really interesting thing if that turned out to be evidence of why we shouldn't have done this, all the different ways in which we had these experimented animal offspring.
Oh, that's interesting.
Um,
God,
but
there's
if I
so
could
much
also
to this.
say, there's so many things to think about in there, and when you, I'm mid on it because I know for sure, I feel it in my bones that the moon is going to be the moon's artifacts and archaeology underneath are going to become very, very important in this story. I feel that in my bones.
Mhm.
That it's underneath, that we haven't seen it, and it's going to end up being very, very important to us, and we just haven't got there yet. I
Yeah.
believe these are the things I believe in my bones. I believe in my bones that the red line needs to get the fuck out of the way, because the drums of liberation are, how do you move the drums of liberation through the world? Well, the number one way to move a sound wave is through water. Water has the greatest way of having a sound wave. And if the drums of liberation coming from your sun god could do anything, the louder drum beats need the arc to be gone so that the entire world is brought to life in a different way, that something big will happen when Luffy's reverberation reverberates out throughout the world. So how do you stop it? You create sections, and you don't allow those drum beats to come across the world. By creating a red line that's raised above, you stop the beats from being able to connect.
Mhm.
And I think that's going to be very, very important in my bones.
So,
Um,
oh, there's so much to this, dude.
but so I started to think, I really do believe it's possible, because Oda loves people to be good and bad. So I really believe that it is possible that the Lunarians were on the Earth first. I really like that, with people coming down and stealing the resources of the Mother Flame, and then the Lunarians, in order to protect themselves, go too far, and then they need to fight against Lunarians because they're creating problems, and they create giant weapons that end up hurting everyone.
Hmm.
But I also love the idea of the Lunarians being the people who were inside of the moon. I just think that it's weird to say that there would be no historical evidence at all, and the only thing that we would see is evidence of other nations. You know?
I just
I know you have a reason for it. I just think
Well,
it
my thinking
feels.
of why we don't see much in the way of evidence of the world that came before is that the red line smothered it. That the red line ran
No, I mean
along all the
on the
major
moon.
cities. On the
Like
moon?
the moon has all of those cave
Yeah.
drawings, and yet none of them are Lunarian.
Well, that's because my thinking was that they didn't become the way they are, and that's my evidence to why the Lunarians didn't previously exist, because they're called Lunarians. They clearly come from the moon, and yet the moon has no record of them as they look, which is why I stand by my theory that they were modified into the form we call Lunarians by experimenting with this demonic power once they were on the blue planet. And further evidence to why they are the forest gods who bound devils. I want to tell you something. What's King's name? The one Lunarian we know, what's his name?
I don't remember King's name.
Arbor.
Oh,
The one Lunarian
I
is
don't know that.
named Arbor.
That is interesting.
Some people, that has been
For
translated as
800
Albert
years
sometimes.
later to be naming, it is true. Dawn to Dusk talked about how we're going to need to have a religious component, everyone's religion, not one religion,
Yeah.
to explain how you continue to keep the story alive that was hidden away, that was locked away from
Yeah.
the wars, the 800-year void century, the way that you keep it alive, which we see in with the story of Joy Boy, et cetera, et cetera. So like that does make sense. And it would make sense then that the Lunarians would continue to name their children in a tree-like way.
Because
Like,
they were once the forest gods who ruled from the Sun Tree Eve, this thing that
but
siphoned
then
the.
it's interesting to say that they would be forest gods when they're partially made out of flame, like the
I
opposite of
mean,
what you want. So then you would have to ask yourself, is that the mistake they made? They were the forest gods who were there to protect the forest, and instead, they fucked the
well,
forest over.
I think the
It
mistake they
became
made was the
forest
exact same
rise.
mistake that the 20 nations have made. The idea that, like, I think the mistake has been made over and over again. The mistake was that they saw humanity rise out of control and kill each other and try to reach the station of gods. And they were like, okay, enough of that. Smothered them out, took over the world, and were like, now that we're fully in charge, we can keep things at peace. Oda, guys, the man is at least a socialist. Like, I know if you aren't versed in politics, that sounds like you're reaching, but I promise you the man is
God, that is not reaching.
Yes, but people think it is because they think socialism is a world where the government kicks down your door and says you have too much bread, give bread to your neighbor. Because there's a lot of propaganda out there.
Me how little people know about actual socialism, and
yes, because most people who watch us live in the United States, a country that has had active campaigns from the CIA and other groups to try to besmirch it as an ideology. This is real. If you think
that Canada is socialist, right?
No, Canada's not socialist. We're like a social democracy, a failing social democracy.
We're a social democracy, but let's be honest.
We're a failing. I'll be honest. 1940s, early 1950s America was more socialist than modern Canada.
Yes.
Like without other than socialized medicine, 1940s and 50s America was close to socialism. It wasn't quite, but it got close.
No, you used to get to say we're the greatest nation in the world.
Yeah, you guys were fucking ballers. Your education system kicked the shit out of ours back then.
Anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, like genuinely, people think socialism is a world where the government points a gun at you if you have too many breads and says that's not allowed. Oda is a traditional socialist. If you look up the literature, all of his writing lines up with it. That's how it is. Now, what this means to me is Oda is trying to write a world about anarchist philosophy. I think what is wrong is that everybody has thought that their authoritarian method of capturing the world, holding it and saying, I will stop there from being violence, I will stop there from being war, is the mistake that has corrupted them. The Lunarians did it and the 20 Kingdoms did it because the 20 Kingdoms rose up and said, I think that's what the second world is. It's them looking at a world now ruled by the forest god who now control dreams, who now control myth. They control the underworld, their source of power. They're in command of it. And because of that, the 20 Kingdoms said, well, we'll rise up. Their authoritarian grasp of the world is harming us. And look at all this war that has come of it. If we're in charge, we can keep everything peaceful. Because think about how the Marines talk and act. The Marines and the world government aren't like, we hate you and we're going to kill you for the sake of it. They're like, we're keeping the world in order. Pirates will keep causing violence. Pirates will keep destroying everything if we don't keep the world in tow.
Pirates, like they literally want to take the pirates, use the pirates as self-policing people. They want the pirates to police the pirates. So which is exactly what we use the entire population of the planet for. We make each other police each other.
Yeah. And the world government was under the impression that by conquering the world, by ruling over it, they could keep everything peaceful. And instead, they've just created authoritarianism again. Instead, they have just once again created a dictator who needs to be overthrown. So that's my thinking. And what we're going to learn as a lesson here is the reason Luffy is the one to lead the world is because he leads in the anarchist method of leading, which is to lead by example and by care, to care about those around you and to freely choose to help those you have the power to help and encourage those.
Again.
Oh my God.
It's our favorite game we play.
That game a lot. To encourage those around him he cares about to build up their own strength, to protect what value matters to them, and to encourage people to freely help each other as is needed. That's the world Luffy's supposed to create because he's meant to be the good option. Blackbeard represents the bad option of someone deciding to be the new conqueror, of someone seeing this opportunity to become the next tyrant.
Okay, but on a not, like in a deep but not deep realm,
yes,
I would also like to point out that what the frickin' hell was I about to say? Oh yeah, that I also believe that he is not going to put it out there bold as a buttercup about, you know, I'm a socialist person at the very least, and here's what's taking place. And that
that's
one of the other
writing.
things that he is trying to make sure that he emphasizes is that every single person on this earth, no matter whether they are government or whether they are pirate, sucks and rules. And he's trying to make point that every single person on this earth can be both good or bad no matter what side they are, which is why he has people people like the rats and etc. and Axe Hand and all the other people in it first.
But also
And
Kobe and Garp.
but also Kobe, exactly. And so I think that the larger story because of that is going to have definitely a dance back and forth, even though he is obsessed with colonization. So it's definitely going to be, some of it is going to be colonization. But there's going to be a portion of colonization that's going to show that in the end, both the people who were being colonized overstepped, overreacted, overdid, and the people who colonized, and it went back and forth between good and bad, because he likes his people to be complicated and nobody is pure good, pure bad. So that's why I'm wondering, because there's a few things here that we're seeing. Like, can we just look at the Zunesha for a second?
Yep.
And let me go into here.
So something that I see, that's why to me the second world needs to be ruled by the Lunarians. There's a reason they call themselves gods. There's a reason we talk about Joy Boy 800 years ago having been a slave. There is no world where they were the good guys. The Lunarians were the good guys 800 years ago if they were called gods and Joy Boy was a slave. Could he maybe have been enslaved to humanity? Yes, but I don't think that's the type of story that Oda would tell, because it feels too simple if the lesson is bad guys are always the bad guys. The humans are always bad. Like, that feels wrong. That doesn't feel like how Oda would tell a story.
Not going to be the lesson.
He's a humanist. He values humanity and the good in humanity. He just also acknowledges the evil. I think that's how he writes, which is to me why they needed to be in charge. The Lunarians needed to be the kings of the world in the Void Century. And if it's a story about colonialism, I think that's why I like them so much, coming from the moon and taking over Hell. Because if Hell, the underworld, is the place of myths and dreams, that which doesn't exist, them owning that, them owning a symbol of human culture and saying you can't be trusted with this, is such a colonial symbol.
Well, I've been thinking about the story of Uzunami and Uzunagi, and I've been thinking about how to apply it to here. And it would be really interesting for me because the application is she is the first to die and creates the idea of death.
Do you want to create a little bit more context about what Izanagi is for people who haven't been keeping up with us first, and then we'll roll into it?
That is from Shintoism. They are Izunami and Uzunagi are the beginning kind of parents of the world. They're in love. They're together. They bring down with them. They create all the heavens. They birth all the animals. They make mountains. They're rocking it out. When she is giving birth to a specific creature that brings fire to the earth, and this is why I think that that's a very important thing, you kind of want to wonder whether she gave birth to fire, which is the quote-unquote mother flame on this earth. And that's where the mother flame came from that kept this system working. That's one of the reasons I was agreeing with Dawn to Dusk, is because of that.
I feel like this is so close to something.
It kills her, and when it kills her, she goes underground to hell.
Yeah.
Now I'm wondering if that underground is in the moon or if it's in the center of this earth they lived in. It's kind of a hard one. How he keeps her in is he puts a giant boulder in front of it to keep her down in hell. But because when he goes down to see her, she is a wrecking mess. And so is rotting, and he's like, oh dear shit. And he runs away. He puts a giant boulder in it, but when the boulder is removed, a giant monster comes out. So if she was in the depths of hell, which is the moon, and a giant monster comes out, that monster could be the combination of those two planets that came down. This is one thing I was thinking. And then he throws out 3 peach pits that are cleansing and are supposed to be the thing, or the peaches that will cleanse the earth and keep it protected. And when he does so, I was looking at the different planets, and I was wondering, okay, what would those 3 peach pits come into? Would they be the trees that protected it, plus the giant tree that the giants lived on? What could be the symbolic piece of the cleansing of the earth in these peaches? Or could it be turning off the fire that she created through giving birth to it? It's on the verge of something.
I feel like this is so fucking close to something, and it lines up with so much of what I've been saying too.
The place that they put her, right? Yeah. So if they put her in the moon and that was quote unquote hell, and he's playing around and bending the rules, she would have been underground, just like in the original ancient story.
But I think it's
And
more
then when
likely that it's
she
below the earth for so many of what we talked
Yes, but I'm
about.
just saying, then when she came down to get retribution, which is more closely related to Princess Kayagi, who would come down from the moon
Kaguya.
to or Princess Kaguya for her true love, and when she got there, she might find that her true love had corrupted the world that she had helped to make. So there's all sorts of crossovers you could make there. But I just want to say one thing before we do it. The reason that I'm kind of fascinated by those two stories is they go with the story of wars, which I honestly think that he is attempting to put in, and I've said it before, the story of our world within this story, because I think that it's the truest form of talking about history without talking about history that you're not allowed to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And so Zanesha is my clue, and I think I need to look more at this to figure out. I think it'll help to give a clue, because there was the Indian National Congress in World War II that was led. The INC was led by Mahatma Gandhi, and some people that other people won't know, Sardar Patel, Jawaharlal.
Oh yes, Sardar. That guy.
People that the rest of you know Mahatma Gandhi. So they opposed the British involvement in World War II that was taking place in India without consent. And India was like a massive player in World War II. Like they committed so many people to this effort, but the British just declared India's participation. They were like, "Hey, do you want to participate in World War II?" They were like, "Congratulations, British India, you're participating in World War II." Mahatma Gandhi wasn't really impressed with it. I have other things to say about Gandhi. They're not nice. So they imprisoned lots of the INC leaders. What?
Gandhi's a funny figure.
Don't even start me.
Gandhi basically said that American eugenicists were right. The only thing they've gotten wrong is that the racial hierarchy is that white people and Indians are equal, and all of the rest of what the white supremacists in the United States came up with is correct.
Yeah, he also said that you should lay in bed with naked children to test your resolve to not hurt them. How would you know that you had strength unless you actually put yourself in a difficult position? Which says he was sexually attracted to children. There's
Gandhi,
more stuff
what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, so like I have a lot of things to say about Gandhi. They're not all good.
His beliefs around peaceful protest are pretty based.
Yeah. Anyways, so India is forced to go into war in World War II because the British decide
Actually, never mind. Go back a second. His beliefs around peaceful protest were because he was in a position of authority. They're not based at all. He believed in peaceful protest because he didn't want infrastructure that he owned to be damaged in the revolution. Fuck that. Riot. You don't need to protest peacefully if you're being oppressed by a colonial power, actually.
Yeah. Okay, so then the British
no wonder
people
he's
were
held
kind of
up
pissed
by
off
authority. Fucking
because
hell.
the INC had their non-violent resistance, blah blah blah. But then Subhash Chandra Bose, he was a former Congress leader. He said, "Screw that. Let's have a more militant approach." And he decided they stuck him in house arrest, and they were like, "Screw you." But he contacted Japan. He was in house arrest when he contacted Japan, and he said to them, the INA, the Indian National Army, would like to get in line with the Japanese people and come into India and take it back over from British rule. Because remember the first time that India was in World War I with Japan, or sorry, with Britain and everyone else, and was also forced into that war, they were promised that they were going to be released from British rule. And were they? No, they were not. And so they were pissed as shit. And so this dude contacted Japan and was like, bro, hit us up. So Japan expanded into Southeast Asia. They went in particularly into Burma. And then they got into a back door into India, into areas the Indian army and military were. But what did Japan do when they came in? They killed everyone. They killed so many
wait.
Indian
Are you telling
people.
me the racial supremacist imperialist nation weren't friendly?
Oh yeah, they literally murderlated all of these people who they were supposed to be in cahoots with, that the Indian National Army let them in the back door so that they could push the British out. So you can see how the story is so beautiful because it has both sides working to make a better world for themselves, to take the Indian people out of British oppression and British colonization, and they aligned themselves with somebody else who felt like they had been oppressed and had been colonized in their own country. And then that country turns their back on them and does horrifying tortures to them and absolutely annihilates them. And then the Indian soldiers, like, I want you to keep in mind, people don't understand. 2.5 million Indian soldiers fought in World War II. Like, we're not talking small numbers here. And so the Indian National Army fighting with Japan was seen as one of the most...
Okay, I think you need to get to the One Piece part of it, though.
So when you look... No, this is why I'm saying it. When you look at the picture then with Zanesha, so if you can go back out...
Whoop.
And you look at the picture of Zanesha and how Zanesha is charging into the tree now, and she is bringing with her the Mother Flame, and she is bringing with her who I think is the Emu character, and she is trying to attack her own space. It makes me think that Zanesha, the thing that she did 800 years ago, is going to be a similar thing. The area where the tree is an area that Zanesha was trying to protect. And this is the reason why I believe Drawk's idea of the Lunarians coming down in another way a little more, because Zanesha is supposed to be protecting this tree. It's her place. It's where she lived. It's where her people are. And instead, she brings Emu in, and Emu is going to be representative here of the Japanese military to attack something that now the Lunarians are trying to protect. And they were supposed to be on the same side of history, which is why now when she does that, she screws the earth, puts Emu in charge, and that's why she has to live with the shame and the regret and a debt that she has to pay back. Just like the Indian people who let the Japanese people in, who took advantage of their partnership to murder and decimate.
I just had another thought that I really like, okay?
Yeah.
We've seen modified magical shells with the Skypians, right? We've seen modified, and I believe the Lunarians made that, I've said. We've seen modified magical shells with the merfolk. We believe that the fish people were made by the Lunarians, and I've been thinking, okay, why is it that Joy Boy needed to promise to save the fish people? Well, what if they were being used... what if they were being kept down there at the base of the Sun Tree to protect the roots of the Sun Tree from invasion? Like, they were being used as underwater servants by the Lunarians, and that's why Joy Boy was supposed to liberate them, and Joy Boy failed because he was betrayed by Emu and the 20 Kings when they defeated the Lunarians, who were the kings of the world before.
I think that that's more than possible, especially when you look at the weird elevator. I counted the number of people on it. The weird elevator had 20 people on it, which is kind of an interesting thing that it's trying to say, because those 20 people are all bringing the Mother Flame to the Zanesha character, who is also using Zanesha as an instrument of destruction. I think in this picture that Zanesha is one of the original weapons, one of the 3 weapons.
I don't know if I'm certain on that. However, I do think Zunesha, based off of the eyes especially, is a what we'd call demon, creature of myth, whatever you want to call it. One of those beings that was born of the underworld, born of this world of myth that I believe in fully.
Hear me out on this.
Yeah.
They are showing them bringing the Mother Flame up, carrying it across Zanesha. They made the front of Zanesha's trunk look almost as if it was a vehicle with a boat with oars off of it. Some people wouldn't even agree that this was Zanesha. I got into a long conversation with somebody online.
You gotta stop reading comments. I think it's bad for your health.
I really do, because the berserk ones made me berserk.
Most of them are so kind. Just ignore the ones that aren't. People are nice to you.
Anyways, I'll talk about that later. And so they're bringing it up. They are filling it into another boat that could be seen as the 3rd boat, but in actuality, I think it goes. We have the Noah on the bottom underneath Zanesha, and then we have Zanesha, and then above it we have thing that's like the Max.
The Arc Maxim.
So the arc maxim. So I think those are supposed to show the 3 weapons all on top of each other. That's why I started to think that she was one of the weapons. And I think that weapon was because that weapon is thinking, feeling, and emotional. I think that weapon made a choice and turned its back on its people in order to help its people. Because when you talk about the people in the Indian National Army, they were doing what they did 100% to help their people, 100%. But they were doing it without thinking about who they were aligning with. And the Japanese people had never been loyal to anyone but the Japanese people. So I think it would be a thing that Oda would love to make mention of without making mention of. Remember that time we turned our back on people we said we were partners with and murdered and tortured, literally tortured thousands upon thousands. And so that's what it makes me think of.
So because
Also,
of all this, sorry, you go also first.
Also, I don't think we're paying enough attention to the animals going on the ark 2 by 2, which also kind of speaks to this idea of trying to get all sorts of animals and people onto this boat because they might have thought this world, which is now fire, was being destroyed and they had to abandon it. Because the ark theory is the theory that they had to protect people because the earth was going to flood. But what would it look like if that flood was also fire?
But we know an actual flood came and raised the sea level and everything.
But was all of the flood water, or was there more to it?
All right, all right. Okay. We have been talking. There's a lot. What? Okay, you go.
What if the world was actually fire and the flood was used to put the fire out and they had to get the animals on so that they could float above the disaster they were trying to quell?
But then why was this era still called the Sea Circle? Because the second world is in the age of the Sea Circle. It's not the age of the gods.
Sea Circle. They flood it to protect it.
No, but the age for 800 years before Emu and his gang took over was still called the age of the Sea Circle.
Yeah. I don't think that goes against it.
Okay.
What? Argue to me why it does.
Haven't thought.
I don't think it does. I think that if it would be called the age of the Sea Circle if you were raising the sea in order to protect from the bad things you've done.
But it wouldn't, because the seas weren't raised until Emu took over. That's something that we know. Like, we know that the Void Century is when that happened. Yes. However, the vast majority of the age of the Sea Circle did not have the sea levels raised.
Yeah. But what would you name it after? Would you name it after when it was all fire?
Well, my thought is the Grand Line has to exist. Like, because you're not going to name it for the thing that's going to happen 700 years from now. That's not how you're going to name something.
No. Emu in this moment, I think the second age here that we're seeing in this moment is the earth is on fire. You cover it with water. That's why the earth is still on fire in the third part. You cover it with water.
But I think we're seeing the ends of each era is what it really looks like. Because we know we're seeing the end of the third age.
And then I think Emu and the rest literally created a flooded earth in order to fix it with the red line.
I don't know, man. I don't think that's it for a lot of reasons. I think a lot of what you said, I think, is plausible and I can go on.
What do you think? And then we'll talk.
But so one of my main reasons is all of these seem to be showing us the end of their age. We see the city being smothered by the red line. We see Emu going to conquer the tree, and we see Luffy and the gang going to fight Emu. They're each showing us the end of the age. If the sea the second world's description ends with the sea god raging, which is likely the sea levels rising. We also see underneath the sea levels, we've seen fully developed cities. You couldn't have those if the world was a world of fire for hundreds of years while that was happening. I think the first world could have been the world on fire, or full of fire, whatever. There's multiple interpretations that I've seen from different translators. But I don't think the second world was, especially because a wooden boat would also be a bad way to escape it. I think you've said a lot of stuff that's right. Yes.
I think you've mistaken me. So I see the world 1.
Yeah.
The world is on fire.
Yes.
They lay down the red line. In world 2, Emu is trying to find a way to put out said fire, which is how they convince Zanesha to be a traitor. And then flood the world in World 2.
I don't think it needed to be that. I think it could have just been as simple as offering to save everyone, to free everybody from slavery. Like, hey, we need to overthrow these guys.
I absolutely agree it could have been, but on the other hand, I also think that it could really have been. You lay down the red line, the world is on fire, you're preparing yourself, you need to find a way to get in there, and then boom, and that's why there's a Noah's Ark. They knew they were about to flood the world. So what do you need? Boats. Giant ass boats where you're putting animals in 2 by 2. You're about to flood the damn world.
Yeah,
you need to get
I agree it was about to be flooded.
off. And I think it was about to be flooded, and that's why they put down the red line. Well, the sea serpent that becomes the red line.
I can't find the Neural Peace chat, but
I think they've been burning the world and fighting in the world and causing environmental destruction, and everyone has been all together and able to get to each other. And two things happen. Emu decides the very best way to keep people apart from each other is to create islands rather than continents where people can no longer fight, attack, move amongst themselves at their own free will. And the only people who can are people who have creatures like Zunesha or boats. You flood the earth, you separate the islands, you separate the world into sections, and ta-da!
I think you don't need the world to have been on fire at that point for any of that. And I think the world on fire is a description in the first world.
I'm talking like metaphoric and real. I'm talking about there being like bombs, but there's also just how do we separate people from hanging out with each other? How do we keep them from
the red line did that
and kill each other? The red line does some of it, but you still have great big continents. Like if there was a red line and it wasn't on Canada,
but let's go to that. Why I don't think there was great big continents anymore, because we know Oars was called the continent polar. I was asked earlier if I felt that the Lunarians had anything to do with other slaves, if they had other slaves. I think the ancient giants were made by taking giant people or just creating them from the hell tree, basically growing them out of whatever the hell essence they have, tapping into that and creating the ancient giants, making Oars and the other ancient giants to pull the continents. And I think the reason we have the era of war that happened where the ancient giants fought against humanity as these horrible villains was because they were loyal to the Lunarians. So when the humans took over, eventually they rebelled and revolted against them. But I think the ancient giants were basically built. I'm not too caught up on hell. You're not caught up enough on hell, because here's more evidence I have. Okay? Everything I look at feeds into it more. Every place I see someone run into a dead end, I see hell as the answer. It solves fucking everything. It is at the center of everything. I've been caught up on
hell forever. Get on board the hell
I was against Mama Drawk being caught up on hell, and I'm on it now. Hear me out. I got into this earlier, but you needed to talk over for a thing you were talking about. It wasn't important at the time. But now we should go back to it because it is relevant. Here's what I mean by it solves problems. I was looking at Dawn and Dusk talk about that something is added by the rhythm of Joy Boy, because all of these things are supposed to be powered by the mother flame. That's supposed to be enough to power it. But why can't we get the ancient giant to turn on? Why isn't it reactivating? Well, what if Joy Boy's drum heartbeat being a god, powerful devil, same difference, is that ethereal energy of dreams, that shit that comes from the underworld, that power source that fuels them, that gets the drum beating. And that's why we suddenly had enough to reactivate Emmett. But
I think that's hockey. That shift of dreams, a man's dreams, I think it's hockey.
I think hockey comes from the same vibe of place. I think it's
the same thing. And I think being able to wield hockey, we've already seen in the tying of Emmett's knot in there. Is the thing that hockey is the power source that is used. It is the thing that creates a man's dreams. It is the thing that is used to create power change. And I think hockey is going to turn out to be the thing that is turned on at an epic source when the drumbeat of liberation happens.
I think you're misunderstanding. A red herring would be where this narrative is directly pointing to it. The narrative has never pointed us at the underworld being the solution to this, to being the power source, to being what fuels the sun tree. The reason the theory about Jon Snow's parents being who they are was good was because the series never pointed to it, but it answered all the questions perfectly. The reason I'm on board with Underworld thinking now is because everywhere it solves problems. It can just plug in and be the perfect solution, but the series has never told us to think that way. That's why I'm on board. And if I'm wrong at the end, I'll be like, hey, I was wrong. But if I'm right, this channel was Hell Piece. This channel was on it. Here's another place.
Oh, I've said day one. It's for sure.
Yeah, but the theory was proven wrong.
Hell matters.
The alt theory was proven wrong. The show did it, and George was like, "Yep, that was right." Like the show did it right. The you can't say there's an alt theory because it's not. We know now. We know what it is now. The
alt theory is incorrect.
Yeah, the alt theory.
Anyways,
sorry.
what I was going to say is, I know there is going to be a hell, and I agree with you that there's a power source there. I just think it's hacking.
But I got more. Devil fruits, I think, are literal devils. Why, if they're not literal devils, is it that Vegapunk can only recreate, right? Why is it he can only recreate Zoans? And why does Oda now say in an SBS that artificial Zoans don't reincarnate? What's the difference?
That's right, baby.
What's the difference between those? Because Oda in the new SBS says they don't reincarnate. What's the difference?
And the difference is actual spirit.
An actual spirit, an actual creature of myth that is dragons, or is the idea of fucking leopard demon or whatever that goes to the next one. And why can't he recreate Logias? Well, we've talked about the fact that they pull all of this crazy energy. Zoroaster is also solved by Hell Theory. Yes, if Haki is related, because Hell is a world of dreams, Haki being able to manifest as these dreamlike entities work perfectly. Well, no, Paramecia's needing green blood works even better, because get ready for this. My belief for a long time has been the durability of the Lunarians is because they're channeling this dream energy, because they're part devil. They've been infused with devilish blood, that they can make themselves durable. You die if you have 2 devils in your blood. Right? If you eat 2 devil fruits, you die. What happens to Lunarians when they use their devil fruits? When they channel devil energy of another source, the flame goes out. The flame goes out. They're not in active devil mode every time they activate their devil fruit powers. Right? Why can't Vegapunk recreate Logias? Well, because of fucking Dimension Piece. Because the dimension is the abyss. It's what the hell circles travel through. We see summoning circles. They're traveling through hell to get around the world. You need a mark to get through to be protected from hell. That's fucking straight out of Warhammer shit right there. And yeah, my belief is Logias pull matter from the abyss. Why can't the Blackbeard's fruit be connected to it too? You can also summon demons. You can summon demons if you're the one who lives where the stump, literally lives where the stump of the sun tree would be. Because Mama earlier talked about Izanagi being trapped in the underworld after dying and a cork being put on top. What if the cork was the red line? What if that was what blocked it all out and then they could grow a tree there? Or the tree was what the cork. The point is, a font was covering up
it's one of the trees
entrance
that grew when he tried to cleanse the world when he threw out the peaches.
Yes, and that is the sun tree Eve. And Emu, when it says they killed the sun, when it says man killed the sun, it wasn't the sun god they killed, it wasn't Joy Boy, or maybe it was both, but it was rather the sun tree Eve they killed by slicing open, freeing Izanagi, and accessing all these demonic powers.
Yes, because they're used unruly, and the power that the sun tree is a regulator for the power of the mother flame.
I mean, I think it's regrowing. I think they did chop it down, but now it's regrowing because it's not as big as it's not as big as the atom.
No, it is not as big as the atom. Yeah, no, I'm 100% on board with all of that because I'm a person who has been Hell Piece all along. And it helps to explain the dimensions. It also makes it more terrifying when you think about things like an entire area being sent down through Dimension Piece, that it ends up being in hell. He'll do hell in an interesting way in the end. We're going to see hell.
It's going to be, Oda does everything in an interesting way. We're not going to be 100% right.
No, it's just, what I mean is hell isn't going to be the hell.
Wait a minute. Wait a fucking minute. I think it is fire and ice.
What?
I think it is fire and ice.
Yes, I agree. I've been trying to figure out how. So give me your theory.
Well, I'm not sure exactly, but I think first of all, your conversation about Punk Hazard. So
Yes.
I've said for a while that I think Logias, when they're awakened, become able to permanently warp an environment. I think that's how we got a lot of the weird areas we got. The Lunarians could have been
Agreed.
terraforming, doing this on purpose. It could have been a result of their war with the Ancient Kingdoms. We can't really know. So that's my thing. That's my thinking, right? We have seen an analog for Hell as well, where we see in Impel Down layers of fire and layers of ice. We have also,
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
we have also seen people use hellish flames, hellish slicing, and Brook calling upon the chill of the underworld.
Yes. Brook for me was the other thing where I was like, don't tell me hell doesn't exist and don't tell me we don't have access to it. He has soul powers. So does Mama have soul powers.
And he physically
Brook
came back from the underworld. His soul
and
physically
he physically
returned.
came back and said he came from the underworld. So we know it's a place that exists. And so I think it's the combination of using kind of that Shintoism piece along with this like dimension piece going into hell. Yeah.
But yeah, no, my theories here are just 100% like, yeah, demons are the solution. Demons are gods. They're the same thing. Demons is why we have had the weird interactions with green blood. It's why the artificial fruits don't reincarnate, and the ones that were originally made did, because the original ones were channeling actual demons. That's why it talks about the forest god conjuring
And
demons.
then now we have a new issue. Like when we talk about the animals of Zoe having in the past been given something that turned them into like Chopper, but it turned them permanently. Now they have babies and they're still within there, and it reincarnates them and is part of their DNA and is changed. You start looking at all the different things that he's done to all the different islands. You've got the long arm people. You've got people with small weird wings, people with larger white wings. You have people who are animals. You have people who are fish. You have all these different types of people, and you start having to wonder, are these all iterations like the people of Zoe that he's showing us? And that's one of the ways that when they separated the world, many of those islands kept the people that were there and it wasn't bred out. And now we have kind of time capsules of where the messing around with human DNA got to.
I just learned something so fucking cool. Okay, hear me out on something.
Go ahead.
Poseidon, the Sea Kings, and the Merfolk were created to live in the roots and protect the roots of the Sun Tree. If you go according to Norse mythology, a serpent dwells on the roots of the Sun Tree, right? A snake, let's say the sea serpent, the snake, let's say that's the Merfolk and the Sea Kings, okay? Protecting the roots. The Sea Kings protecting the roots, all right? Let's then say the red line running through it, just as we've always imagined, is Jormungandr, because Jormungandr wraps around the trunk of the world tree. So Jormungandr is on the roots, and then we have the different serpents, is around the base. You know what lives in Yggdrasil? You know what lives in Yggdrasil at the base of the trunk, not the roots, and just above Jormungandr? Animals. What if the minks, having been experimented on and gifted powers to protect themselves? I mean, it's deer, but yeah, it's the deer. It is the beasts, usually represented as deer, but it's also said to be the beasts.
The
Ratatoskr and the deer.
They have
So
a bunch of different animals
specifically,
with power in there.
furred animals are what is usually shown to be there. And then at the top is birds. So what if the top living in the tree were the forest gods, Lunarians, on the branches, living at the base were the minks, which is why when they saw their homes, when Zunesha saw their home slain, saw their home destroyed by Emu, he offered to let them, as in penance, offered to protect the minks and let them live on his back, because they would have been up there. All of the Sea Kings are serpent shaped and they all dwell around the roots. Yeah. Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the Sun Tree Eve was an Yggdrasil metaphor as well as Adam is. What are your thoughts on Elbaf's astral level and what's there? We haven't seen enough. weirdly enough,
I
I don't think
don't
we've seen
know
enough.
too. That's why I'm not convinced on the whole Lunarian thing and the other people with wings. Because when
I'm
we're talking about
mhm.
what do we think about that astral level, that astral level makes the most sense as being them.
True, but there's two big trees. There's plenty of non-serpentine sea kings. I don't remember them, but if you're saying so, you might be right. My point, though, I think stands. I think this works, and I like the idea that the minks used to live at the base of the tree. It feels like it makes
Just
sense
so
to
you
me.
know, I've decided now that the Sea Kings are going to be partially responsible for dismantling the Red Line. That they are waiting to be given the proper cues because they were like, oh, they're the ones that talk to Luffy. They're the ones who are able to have conversations. Blah blah blah. And I think that they are going to be used in their great power to help pull apart the Red Line and break it.
Perhaps, perhaps. God, there's
The
so fucking
reason I
much to
also
this.
think this is think about how Laboon in the beginning was smashing his head against it the entire time, and he kept
Oh, we've
saying
already
to him,
seen a whale trying to break it.
he said to him, you can't break through Laboon, it's much bigger than you. But think about all the protected sea kings who, quote unquote, we put them in here for their protection, but they're actually used as a form of weapon, so that's bullshit in the Calm Belt. And it's a nursery. Think about how many there are there, how they can communicate with those with deep power like Luffy's. I think that they are going to crack the Red Line and it's going to break apart.
Okay. I have a thought. I want to run by you, and it's insane.
Yeah.
What if what we are seeing now, what if I'm right? What if you're right? I'm right. Underworld is a world of dreams, myth, and the dead, right? All the mythical beings are down there.
I've been saying that for freaking months.
But we're going to go further. There's more. So that's step one. Then on top of that, all of these figures are theories of figures of myth. Emu has taken into himself the great sea devil. He has taken into himself Izanagi, who represents the ocean, who represents the devil, as a lot of theories have suggested, and is now effectively the devil. Is a probably depicted as a dragon, but is the devil, rules over the world. Okay?
Yeah, I think it's Izanagi. Yeah.
What if there are devil fruits of these figures of myth as well? Or maybe some of them have been reincarnated as devil fruits. What if the reason Loki's belt in the image has the same pattern on it as the pattern on the snake that is the red line is that snake is Jormungandr.
And the planet.
The snake and the planet is Jormungandr. It was created to create the red line. And his fruit is the Jormungandr fruit, which is why he, Loki, can begin the apocalypse and get rid of the red line, because he has its devil fruit. I know that's insane, but wouldn't that be cool?
I love that.
I'm not as convinced about that as I'm a lot of things, but I think if that happens, that is going to be evidence towards a lot of what we've been saying.
All right, this is where we have to stop. I promised your dad I would be there for it.
Well, we didn't even do plugs. We're just mad ranting today.
Let's plug. Here you go. Hey, everyone.
Hey, yo.
Like and subscribe.
What's up? Do it.
That's it.
Fucking do it.
That's all. Bye.
All right, guys. We've had fun here. Jesus Christ, there's so much crazy shit. So much
today
crazy
was
shit.
super fun. I loved it. I think we do. I have not sat down with all the theories. Like, I can't even remember why I said last time that it was crazy that Luffy could talk to the to the Sea Kings. I can't remember my theory. I've been making too many theories and now I can't even remember them.
Yeah, I don't remember that either. Guys, we're gonna keep obsessing over this. Anyone who thinks we're too committed to hell, I think at this point, Mama and I are just so committed that the underworld is going to be relevant. And what I want is for, if it happens, for everyone to be like, oh, holy fuck, they were right. And what I will say is, since we've started talking about this, it has leaned nothing but more towards us being right. Like, so Mama, much keeps leaning that way.
Gandhi tangent, I now believe Lily was the Vegapunk equivalent of Second World.
Weird. I don't know how that connects, but I'm curious to find out. It turns out the Patreon, I just checked it out, has been talking about their theories for a while, and it's really interesting. I was looking at it. I think I'm going to tune into that. I haven't been noticing. I didn't get notifications about it for some reason. Also, You made me think in your tangent how many times England has been a horrible, evil colonial power, but they've managed to come away not looking that bad because someone did even worse evil next to them.
It's just wild.
Like,
Like,
if I had a nickel for every
how to
time, I'd
be
have a lot of
evil-
nickels.
How to be evil long term? Have someone else suck a little bit more.
Yeah, like in Africa, France was worse. In Latin America,
Yep.
and in the Americas, Spain was worse. In
Yep.
Asia, Japan was worse. Everywhere they go, there's someone being a little bit worse.
We are doing Berserk next week.
We're doing Berserk.
And
probably
I
more tier
also
lists.
would
More tier lists 2 weeks from now. But next week, who knows?
I would also like to do more tier list. I think Lily was a naive scientist who then came to her senses towards the end and equally felt betrayed by Emu's true intentions.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
That's good. That makes sense because if Lily and Emu were together, then it would make a lot of sense. Or, oh, shit on a turkey. No.
We'll get more Berserk next time. She freaking out. She losing her mind. Don't worry about it.
There's a possibility that Lily could have gone to hell and become Izunami.
She could have.
Emu could have become evil over time and was Izunagi. And I've been Emu is a girl for a long time, but that would make sense, hey?
I think where I'm leaning most now is that Emu might not be a woman as the human Emu, but has been kind of like infused with an Izunagi figure and might be.
I think I love the idea of, but you know what?
I don't think I'm right, but I think it's neat.
Why no?
Why?
Do you want to know why no?
Why no?
Because Luffy is holding that specific shield, and there's a boat with that specific shield from Alabasta.
Yep.
That's why I know that Izunami is not going to be Lily.
All right. Okay, you got to go.
I gotta go.
You guys rule.
Okay.
Let's raid Oak. I have to do so much because I'm still unpacking. I hope everybody had a good time. We've been doing our best to
So much fun.
get
I
through
missed
this.
squishies while I was sick.
We're just mad chatting out here. This is driving us actually insane, isn't it?
It really is. That's a fair statement.
We're gonna lose our minds from this shit. We're gonna raid Oak because Oak is great. We love her.
Make me lose my mind.
Oak is drawing today, an especially busty lady. I know that it's Oak, so obviously, but no, like extra. All right, everybody, I'm sending you off. Until next time.
Squish on, squishies.
It's been lovely dropping to you. Bye.
Bye.
And now the little awkward bit before I can hit end stream, where if you're watching the VOD, you hear this. That's funny. All right, bye.